Hi, everybody. I'm Joe.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Matt.
And we are the hosts of
Beats, Balls, and Bourbon,
the vodcast of the Groove Machine, the official supporter drumline for LouCity supporters. We are on episode. It's not really an episode. This is just show number 9. There's no episodes.
I mean, I've been putting them online as episodes. I don't know.
Well, I guess it is an episode.
I feel like I'm having an episode every time I'm on here. So.
This is chapter 9.
This week, Eric buys a dog. No, so anyway, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this and joining. I don't know, and joining us for this endeavor. We've been having a lot of fun. Hopefully, you've been having a lot of fun too. Appreciate all the suggestions that we've been getting. I want to start first by thanking our guests last week, which was really a good time. We had Martin French, who was one of the original Coopers, Martine Valencia from the was it Podcast Luchador?
Podcast Luchador,
right? And then we had John Harper, one of our capos here. We had a great discussion about a lot of things. So if you go back and check that out, there are 2 places you can actually check that out. We have our shows, the video, obviously right here in this group. You can go back and look. We also load the shows up to onto YouTube on Friday mornings. Also, the audio version of this vodcast is now available on iTunes every week. So we fixed a little issue we were having with that. So when you're driving around, say if you're driving around to Pittsburgh like you did last week and you need something to listen to,
yeah.
Or if you're going on a trip, let's say if you're going on a trip, Derek. Derek, are you going someplace this week?
I am.
Yes. Where are you heading to?
Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yes. To do what?
To see the Mothman.
The Mothman.
The Mothman.
It's exciting. What is
actually? It's if you know anything about Mothman folklore, it's actually bad when you see him because he's a doomsayer. If you see the Mothman, you're gonna die.
Well, so let's hope you do not see that.
Maybe I can see his back or something. Yeah.
Okay. I can see his back. Maybe. Let's talk about the other podcast very quickly. We have the Derby City Ultras have Final Judgment. Usually comes out on Mondays when they do it. We have Barrelproof Podcast on Tuesdays. That comes out on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday, yep.
We have In the House, Scouse's House, which usually comes out on Thursday. When they do it on Wednesday. And then you have Soccer City Radio, which is technically a podcast. But
they do release a podcast. It does come out on Saturday.
Yes, comes out on Saturday, and then you have this deal, which I hope you're enjoying. #3. Let's do this again. Ready? I did it last week and it worked. If you look right there, that's where the hashtag is. So please use the hashtag. Just wait. It's going to be edited, and I put it in. The special effects are just amazing. We're doing big things here.
When are you gonna start doing fades?
Absolutely. All that stuff's coming. Let's talk real quick before we talk about today's guest. Let's talk about a little bit we have planned next week. We have Dave Walkovic is going to be here next week, our ticket guy. Now, you might be saying ticket guy. All right, if you want to talk about somebody that does a ton of work and really deserves a little bit of time to say hello to everybody, the amount of work that the ticket staff does to make sure that we're ready for the stadium is enormous. So that should be really cool having him on. Also, Mike Baldwin, who's the last capo we haven't had on yet, so don't take offense, Matt, Mike. But he's the last capo that we haven't had on, and we'll get him on to talk a little bit. Aaron Leibson, who is one of our supporters, will also be joining us next week. Or 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. Remember, there's no show next week. We're back on our regular schedule. We are going to be doing every 2 weeks, so we'll be back in 2 weeks from tonight. Something important we want to talk about real quick, and Matt, maybe kind enough to talk about something that popped up on Twitter this week about one of our former players.
Sure. Some of you will remember Sean Russell. He played for us. It's 2016, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he didn't see the field a lot, but I mean, he was with the team. He was working hard for us, and once you're part of the Purple family, you're always part of the Purple family. Yep. Well, he ended up going back to Ireland and playing for Limerick FC. Limerick something.
Right.
And he's there under an amateur contract. And last year he suffered a pretty bad knee injury. I believe he tore his ACL.
Pretty bad deal.
Yeah, it's bad. He's already had to have one surgery, and his club I hate to say it, they've completely let him down. Yeah. Just to get seen by the doctor. His dad had
couldn't think of the name of this. It took me like 2 hours to figure out. I forgot the name. So we'll do our happy stuff over this.
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia. Who's
Oh, I need to do the camera angle. Hold on.
the Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Okay. I'm having too much fun already.
Yeah. I love that horn line.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Hi.
Again, look, what looks like what happened, and this is definitely looks like it was an issue, is that live video was not available on Facebook for a moment there. So it looks like that might have went down. So I guess we'll keep going until we can't.
Yeah, hopefully we get some stability now.
We apologize for that. I know you guys watch this, and we'll edit it and make sure everything's okay. Hi, Davena. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm sorry about this. We apologize.
Because I didn't break Facebook.
No.
The people have come to, expect a certain degree of professionalism from us after all.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
So we'll keep trying until, like I said, it looks like there was a little bit of an issue with Facebook actually. And if there, oh no, here we go. Oh no, we're still on. I'm going to leave that right where it is. So anyway, Davina, I'm going to go back to you were talking about your role with the team and exactly what you were doing. You say accounting stuff.
I pay the bills, pay the
bills.
players, pay the staff,
And
keep
that
track
means,
of the player compensation on their various contracts. And
which makes you one of they're big fans of you.
they're very nice to me.
Okay, so now you get involved with the team, and now you're talking. You have, but there's some other things that you do on game day.
I do. Well, I help with the player escorts.
Yes.
And signing in groups and get the ball kids where they need to be.
Which
hand
is
them off to Dylan and
compare that to being an accounting person, because I think that's probably a little harder. Because I've been down there plenty of times and you do that, and I've talked about it. I mean, that's just you're herding cats.
it is like herding cats. It is. But they're various ages, and everybody thinks the smaller ones are harder, but they're not. They're easier. They're better behaved than the older ones.
The older ones are.
But they're usually pretty good. So
Okay,
the little
good.
ones are cute though when they walk out with the team.
And I guess it's fair to say, I mean, you see people like I see Evan out there before games as well. I think it's pretty fair to say that the folks that are involved that are employed by the team probably do a little bit more extra than what their actual roles are. Would that be fair?
Everybody does more than their
It's not a very
actual job description,
Mhm.
and I think that's why you always put in a job description
right.
and any other tasks we may need assistance with.
And any other tasks that we may need.
Yes.
Now, I guess getting in with the stadium stuff, it's a very broad question, but your involvement as far like the financial end of it, it's got to be monumental. I mean, it's got to be so much insanity. I mean, how is that? How do you balance that? I honestly,
I would love to say yes, Joe. That's all I'm doing, but no, we have a project manager,
okay,
and they handle almost all of that.
okay.
Brad and I have, Brad's very much involved, but on the accounting side,
Mhm.
it's, they're handling most of that. I'm paying the bills,
Okay.
but they're taking care of a lot of the back end stuff,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
a great way that it was set up by the board
Okay.
to hire them to do all that, because Brad knows there's only so much time
Right.
in a week for us to
Right,
get things
right.
done that we have to get done. So
So, and I've also seen you on a lot of away trips. Okay, I know that I've seen you on several of those. I would love for somebody to take us, because I haven't asked anybody this yet. If you could take us through what those couple of days are like with taking the team on the road, all the things that entails, maybe your involvement as far as, because there's rooms, there's all the travel stuff, what USL is expecting. Can you take us through a little of that?
actually, Andrew DeLallo, who's the director of soccer operations, handles all of the travel for the team
Okay.
as far as making the arrangements. Now, the other teams are responsible for the host hotel.
Okay.
So we have our partner is the Aloft, which
Okay.
is right there next to our building, and so that's where the away teams stay when
Okay.
they come in, and then we have assigned hotels, whoever the other team's partners are with.
So you have no real, I mean, look, when I say you have the team, they're responsible for making sure, you're responsible for making sure, the team's responsible for making sure of their own site as far as travel is concerned. Does USL have any standard? Like, here's what I'm afraid of. Like, if I have a team and I'm going to go to Bethlehem and they throw me in a friggin' motel, you know, I mean, they can't do that, can they? I mean, that doesn't make sense. There's got to be some standard.
Someone has to hear the Rochester story.
I happen to be there for that, but there are minimum standards that the USL puts in place. So, and then after every trip, every team is graded on the experience.
Oh, okay.
And we like to have very high standards and usually get very high grades from other teams on our hospitality and the hotel and the locker room. And, you know, there's certain things with the USL you have to have, you know, make sure that there's shampoo and towels and all that, a certain number and the things that have to be available to every team when they're coming in.
Okay.
So,
and you said they grade everybody. Travel schedule. We haven't asked anybody about that. I'm sure you're obviously involved in it. So I mean, you're not involved in it, but you're there, and you.
Andrew, we have a centralized travel program now through the USL.
Okay.
So he uses them in some cases, and in some cases we directly contract with people for like sleeper buses that if we have a particular company that we want to use, we're allowed to do that, and then we contract with those separately. But the director of soccer ops really takes care of all of that scheduling. I make sure that the guys get the money that they need for their travel. They all get a per diem, just like any business travel, right? The team pays for some hotel or some food as a group. So we'll do banquet meals pre-match, usually the night before. Post-match, it's usually a little looser. And the guys will sometimes have per diem, or it just depends on each trip, but they're all different.
Okay.
So
now there's got to, like, I was involved in marching band all those years. We did a lot of trips with a lot of kids, and it was, you know, I did trips with 160 kids. But there's got to be a funny story about something that happened that you did not expect to happen that you're okay with sharing. There's got to be.
I remember
like some squirrel went running around or something.
The funniest thing for me was when it was 2017 and the guys were at the airport. I don't know where they were going, and they went live on Facebook or Instagram or something. They were live on, and Brandon Morris was still with the team, and he was at the airport with them. And so somebody took over the Facebook stream, and I look, and the guys are all, they like to play that dice game, the one, I forget, 3, 2, 1. I forget the name of the dice game, but
let's hope it's not craps.
It's not. It's not. It's like a left, right,
hey, give me your shirt.
Left, right, center. Left, right, center. They would always play that, and they would like put $1 in the pot.
Right. Okay.
And so they're Facebook living this, and I text Brandon.
And they do that for charity. They're not gambling.
No,
it's all charity.
It's all for fun and charity. They're great. Because nobody can win or lose.
Right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
They're all a team, and nobody stands out from the others. But I texted Brandon and I go, "Is that their per diem?"
Oh no! Oh no!
And I hear him on the live stream go, "Are you all doing that live?" And it was just, you know, it was like $4. It wasn't even like, we're not talking big money here, but it was just the funniest thing. So they like to have a good time when they travel and try to keep them loose, and you know, you want them focused, but you want them relaxed. And
that's a lot of stress. It's not easy to bring. I don't care. I mean, a lot of us have had, be it you know, whether like doing the marching band thing or with the soccer team, we've all had groups of people that we've had to travel with, and and adults are worse than kids. Adults are way worse than kids when you want to talk about herding cats. Yeah. Because I want to go eat now. Well, yeah, but you know you can't. But I want it. All right, well go. You know, just, you know, you get to a point where you're just like, you know, you get hit by a bus. But
well, fortunately, these guys are professionals.
Right, exactly.
We don't travel with Joe very
much. No. They're pros in everything that they do, and Andrew keeps them on a schedule. They have their schedule ahead of time. They know what they're supposed to wear. They know what they need to leave at the locker room for Ben, the equipment manager, to get everything ready for them. They take everything to the airport before the guys ever show up, check all the bags. The guys basically walk in with the backpack
Okay.
Go through security and they're on their way. So Andrew has it running like clockwork. He's a pro and they all know what to do and they go do their thing.
And it seems like, I know to us, it seems like there is a pretty strong bond between the players and the organization in general. And it seems like that. I would assume it is. Tell us a little bit about what that's like. I mean, it's not just a job. I mean, we all go to jobs, 9 to 5, and do whatever we're doing. This is something that goes a little bit beyond that because you're traveling with them. These are a lot of younger guys who have a lot of aspirations, and the separation between young kids, and we got some kids, right? What's the youngest kid we have now? It's got like 19-year-olds.
If you don't count the academy.
Right. So you're talking about a couple people that can't even, legally drink yet, as opposed to people that at the top end of it have been in business for 30, 40 years. So you've got this big divide, from a cultural perspective, but there still seems to bond. And I mean, can you tell a little bit about that? I mean, it seems, I'm assuming it is, but what's it like being involved in something like that? Because it's pretty awesome. It seems pretty awesome.
It is awesome. It's a lot of fun. And I've always said, like, these young men are the age of my children. Mm-hmm. So, which I know is really hard to believe.
It is. It's very hard to believe.
But they are. And I said, I have 3 daughters and 25 sons because they're, to me, and I have to catch myself and not calling them kids because to me they're kids and they're not, they're adult professionals, but I think the world of them and they're always very sweet. And whenever before a match, when they go out, I just tell them, go have fun, relax, enjoy it and have fun.
And that's just the different types of relationships that they have. I'm sure pardon me, it's got to be a challenge to separate, because of the bond that seems like that exists there, to separate the professional from the personal. That's got to be a little bit of a challenge because sometimes you got to say, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't talk about something malicious.
I love you, but.
Exactly. So, I mean, situations like that are a bit uncomfortable. I'm sure you've run into that.
Well, and I, do the same thing with my kids. It's like, you have to go, this is, when I first started there with them, I remember getting them all together, 2 groups, and going through all of their payroll tax paperwork with them. It hadn't been explained, like, what is a W-4 and what does that mean and how does that impact me, right? And I told them.
But that's the thing that people take for granted. Yeah. I mean, they don't realize. They're talking about, they see everybody playing on the field.
Yes.
And they don't realize that there's a tremendous, and I'm going to equate it to when I play in the band. Everybody they see the 2 hours you play in a gig. They have no idea
the amount of work that
goes into doing that. Yeah. So I'm sorry, please continue.
No, so it's just going through that exercise, because I know before my kids started a job ever, they would text me and go, Mom, stay close to your phone. I've got to fill out the paperwork.
Okay.
Right. So I wanted them to learn and not just everybody do things for them, but these are things that they need to know post their soccer career. Right. They're not at my age going to be playing soccer, I don't think, unless they're like really take care of themselves between now and then. But, I mean, it's just the reality. You have to plan for your life beyond this profession. And I want them to leave LouCity knowing more about life outside of the pitch than
that's awesome.
Than not.
So. That really is awesome. And I know I've asked a couple of folks that have been here. Something that maybe, getting involved in this over the last few years, you've learned. You know what I'm saying? Because I learn something all the time with these guys. I mean, there's always something that comes up that I've never experienced before. Is there something that maybe you say to yourself, wow, before this made me realize something. Made me realize something about what I do and how important my job is, or something, anything like that.
Well, I think a lot of people think, oh, it's so cool to work there. And it is very cool to work there. And it's a lot of fun. And we sometimes have to remind ourselves, like, how blessed we are to have this job. But it is still a lot of work. Yeah. And it's, in some cases, 7 days a week. And, we'll work a regular week all this week, and then I'll probably get there around noon on Saturday and leave around 10. And then Sunday morning I'll be counting money and working on financials to go back to work on Monday morning. So, it is a lot of work, and people think it's just showing up and doing a match. And there's a whole lot of other pieces to it than that. And everybody works really hard, and there's a good team inside from the pitch in the front office, and then there's a great team out and that's a lot of fun with the team that's so good. And which leads me to my
Yes, please.
my thing
Thing that
that's better
that you
than
love just as much or more than winning on the road.
is winning 2 back-to-back USL
Hear
championships.
that?
And I can't believe none of you said that.
We're too busy trying to come up with some yucks.
I mean, that
It's an
was
effort for us.
very obvious. Yes.
Yes, winning 2 championships is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Going into a new facility, okay?
Yeah.
Is there any specific things that you're going to have to deal with going into the new facility that you haven't necessarily had to worry about doing stuff at Slugger? Or it's basically the same responsibilities?
Me personally?
Yes.
Well, I think for everybody, it's going to be a change.
Okay.
You know, just because we're going to have people running, another company running the stadium.
Right.
So it'll be not like working with the bats.
Mhm.
It'll be different than that, but
Right.
we'll have to bring in other roles and be doing other things that and adjusting some of the things that people do now. Like we don't know yet how certain things are going to work on game day.
Okay.
How are we going to line up player escorts, or how are we going to handle groups? Or
Right, exactly.
how are
Right,
we
right.
going to? We don't really know
Yeah, any
yet.
idea
So
yet.
we're kind of some parts of it are going to be baptism by fire. Some will have to figure it out once we can get over there and start doing walkthroughs of the stadium.
Right, I'm
And the same thing you guys are going to have to do. How is it going to work for the march coming in and the fans entering?
Right. And I guess there's going to be, for lack of a better word, run-throughs. You were saying rehearsals.
Yeah.
I mean,
There'll
you
have
almost
to be
have rehearse it.
run-throughs, and you know we're going to have to do those things because we want it to be top-notch. We want, when that place opens for the general public and all of our season ticket holders, we want it to look like completely seamless move
Sure.
from Slugger into the Lynn Family Stadium.
Which is pretty amazing. I mean, Dr. Lynn was on here too, and just to see the amount of people in the community that are getting involved in this, it's really amazing. I mean, we had the walkthrough. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Derek is going to talk about the walkthrough we just did, but when you see all the people, let me ask you this: you know, having family in the area and stuff like that. Have you seen family members that never were interested in soccer before, like coming to you and saying, "Wow, I went to a game," or you know, I've watched it or so on, and seeing a change in people that have never gone to games before but now are into it?
Not personally in my family, because my family mostly doesn't live here anymore. Most of them have all moved away.
Right.
But just in friends and even just general people on the street that I've talked to about it, or people will say that they have never been to a match.
Right.
And I'll go, you don't know how many times I've heard that from people that attend and are now season ticket members, because it's, if you get them there that first time, even if you don't understand soccer, I always tell people it's like a party and there's high quality soccer going on at the same time. And the knowledge of the game will come if you continue to come, but people just love to go and watch you guys and the Coopers and listen to the chants and be involved in all that with the smoke. And it's just a lot of fun and it's high energy.
Right.
And in 2 hours, people can get back to their lives.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Now, I know you're busy and you're working and you're at the games, but is there a chant or a cheer that you've become familiar with that you're like, I really like that one?
I like the Ali one.
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah.
That's my
Yes.
favorite. That's
I
like
love
the
that
one
one
that
too.
I want
I really do love
everybody.
that
That
one
one means we're winning.
Or at least you have a shot to.
I want that to become our "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
we
think
do
that
need
would
that.
be awesome.
Well, I think if we have the only song that can do that to me is My Old Kentucky Home. I mean, we can't, right? I mean, is there
We're going to have to practice that before the
I
stadium
could
opens.
see
Yeah.
if we
Yeah,
did
absolutely.
Purple Rain, that could also be.
Purple Rain would be kind of cool. Purple Rain would be very cool if we could do. You're right, and it's just, I mean, everybody has their personal favorites,
Yep.
and we, you know, it's wanting to make sure that we're catching enough information from the supporters and the, you know, and folks that are here all the time, like yourself, that like, you know, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?
Right.
I'm assuming that you get a lot of suggestions from people that don't work for the team, don't you?
Yes, we do.
That must be crazy.
A lot of suggestions, a lot of requests, a lot of, yes. We
But
do.
you want to accommodate, right? I
Well, it's not realistic to always accommodate.
Sure, I understand.
But we want to hear the suggestions because we do try to see if it's something that we could fit it in or it could work. So we do want the suggestions that if we can't do it, or accommodate it. It doesn't mean that we don't want to. It's
Right.
just not necessarily something we can do at the time, or there are reasons outside of that we
Okay.
can't do it.
Okay. I guess a couple more questions. What do you think about a few years from now? Expansion, stadium expansion. I mean, I guess I could ask you how many tickets have been sold. I mean, we know we have more than 5,000 season tickets.
That's all I know.
Right,
Most
right.
of my news comes from social media.
Right. Okay. So, hey, did you know we're getting an NWSL team?
Was that on social media?
Yes, it was.
I'm like 3 days behind on my feed, so it's out there. I don't know.
Well, I mean, according to the Portland Timbers, somebody in that organization
Yeah,
wasn't.
right. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But
They know more than I do.
yeah, a lot of people that think that
Yes,
know nothing,
yes.
but
The news makes me happy, so I choose to believe it.
right. So a few years from now, what do you? I know it's a really general question, but what do you envision community-wise? I mean, what do you think is practical? I know that people are like, yeah, we want to get Liverpool in here. That's never going to happen. Stadium's not big enough. Costs too much money.
You got to dream big, Joe.
Right. You do. If you want to you bring Everton, leave Liverpool over there. But so talk more from like a community standpoint with younger teams, youth teams, fundraising, stuff like that, community outreach. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to be, where are we with that? And what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think that as a club, we are continuing every day to try to get more teams involved, more clubs involved. We actually have the YMCA youth soccer program coming this weekend as player escorts of all kids, and they have never done it. We've had like the Northeast Y, let's say, like open it up to the members there or whatever, they'll do a group, but this is actually the kids that are in the soccer program through the Y, and we're in our 5th season and they're just now coming. So we're constantly reaching out to our youth partners and bringing in more youth partners, and more people are getting to know that they can have access to being player escorts or ball kids and high five kids, and it's just constantly being out there.
High five kid.
High five kid.
Is it the same as a ball kid? Is it
No.
Okay. Can you tell me I have no idea what that is. I mean,
the high five kids are one of our partnerships that we do, and they are the ones that you'll see standing at the door when they come out the tunnel. They usually will have on a purple shirt. So the player escorts are further out by me.
Right.
And then there are kids lined up outside the door, and basically just to do a high five as the players come on and off the field. So we do that pre-match, and then sometimes we'll have one at halftime.
Okay. And what I always do with give you open mic to talk about anything relative to the team or whatever you like. To anybody that's going to watch this, I mean, is there anything that you want to say? Go right ahead.
Well, I did get a few trivia questions, so maybe I have to put on my glasses so I can see them. So we'll see if you all know the answers to.
You ready? You ready?
To the player.
Derek's always ready.
That these trivia questions.
I like this.
Or I may tell you the player and ask you the question. Okay, who is the player who has a cousin who's a professional ice hockey player?
I have no idea. I'm going to go with Rasmussen because he's from one of those countries. One of those countries that has a lot of ice.
I gotta guess Sean Toach for this.
Okay, yeah, he's from North Dakota.
I would take Rasmussen too, just because of the name.
That's correct.
Okay.
Magnus.
Yeah.
Who on the team is a huge Tottenham fan?
Oh, that's McMahon.
Is it?
McMahon,
yes. Joe knows his players.
Yeah.
I know too much about these guys. I'm fun. What's that song? Every step you take.
Niall McCabe's favorite non-U.S. team, everybody should know. Liverpool. And another
I still
little
love
bit
you
of trivia.
instead, but
When his son Luca was born, Brian and I bought him and the whole thing. So yeah. And then when we were at Anfield in April, I had to buy my grandson a bib.
Being an Everton fan is like being a Mets fan in New York. It's just you just accept it.
This will be
Yankees.
a little trickier.
Okay.
What kit is Speedy's favorite?
I mean, of ours?
Of all of our kits that we've had since he's been here.
It's from Jamaica. And we're going to logically work this out. Jamaica, they have trees.
Most places
They
do.
have
but
water.
okay.
I'll guess the purple and pink.
I'm gonna go with the purple and pink one too.
From last year.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take purple and pink too.
That is
That
correct.
is about the most
Yeah, that
colorful
was
one.
good.
See, we worked that out.
Yeah.
We were-
Riding to the
If
beach.
you all guess this one, I'm gonna think Howie sent these
Okay.
answers to you. Okay. Magnus's favorite candy.
Okay, he's from
Oh
Norway.
God.
It's probably very hard because people from Norway don't like soft, chewy things. I have no idea whether that's true or not.
Skittles.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever said in
He's
my
from
life.
Denmark.
Skittles.
Denmark.
Denmark. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with like toffee.
Cadbury chocolate bar.
I have no idea what this is. Floodballer.
Flowball.
Flodebollerer.
Can you mix it in with gin?
I don't know. So somebody will have to Google that.
Yes, but
A float ball or a float.
And
hang on, I'm on this.
Niall's favorite candy, you'll know what it is. I don't know if you'll guess it.
He probably loves sweet tarts.
Huh. Oh, that's good.
Closest.
He's such a sweet young man.
That's
Sour Patch Kids.
okay. Oh, there you go. Okay.
I have a
Sour-
closet full of those.
Sour Patch Kids.
Now, come on the show. I've got Sour Patch.
Yeah, we got Sour Patch Kids for you.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta admit that looks good.
That does look good.
Oh
yummy.
yeah.
It's
This
very
is
chocolatey
Floodballer.
and it
It
looks
looks
like
like a
little
truffle.
bells, little truffles.
So yeah, Magnus, I'm sure you're watching. Send us some of these.
Yeah,
please.
send us some of these.
Yes.
We always say nice things about you, man.
We want to have a live sampling on air.
We do always say nice things about. He's
He's a
tremendous.
nice
Yeah, he's been
they're all
tremendous.
nice young men. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a little bit
Awesome,
of the
thank
trivia
you.
from the guys. Oh, I've got one more that has a pro athlete in the family.
Okay. Pro athlete.
Somebody has a cousin
Okay.
who plays for the Boston Red Sox.
Jeez.
Andrew Benintendi.
So it's got to be. So all right, it's Italian, kind of. You'd say Paulo.
Yeah, I've known Say Paulo.
I might have to go with Powell too.
Finally, you all lose.
Yeah. Hey,
Luke.
Luke Spencer.
Oh, okay.
Luke.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
we're lucky. We really are lucky. We've
We
got some
have.
great guys. And then you start talking
Great
about
fans.
Paco and his dad played in Culture Club
Mhm.
or continues to play in
continues
Culture
to,
Club.
yes.
And it's just
Super nice
Really
guy.
nice guy. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you. I mean, sorry
Thank
you had
you.
to put up
That's
with the whatevers. And we'd really love to do another show with yourself and some of the other folks that are in the front office at the same time. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do something in the off season. I hope you're amenable
Just
to that.
stop by. You do your remote from
You
our
do the-
front office one day.
Yeah, really. We'll just
Pop
start the show
in.
for lunch.
We could set you up with the trophies behind
The
you.
couches are comfortable. We need to do that.
Qdoba
Yeah.
Catering.
But Davena, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you had a
for
good
having
time.
me.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And Davena Vowels, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
While we get ready to transition, Derek, would you please take everybody through? If you wouldn't mind, our visit to the stadium? I think because you were really enjoying it. I saw you taking it in and everything.
I like to. When I see something that I'm in utter amazement about, I kind of stop what I'm doing. I'm very quiet, and I just kind of look around, and I'm all about the experience.
Right.
So this place is well. Right now it's a hollowed out shell with lots of plywood on the ground, so you don't step on nails. Lots of unfinished rooms, lots of drywall, lots of framework. It's what you would typically see in a stadium that's unbuilt and unfinished. But just some of the things that Howie Lindsay was essentially our tour guide, and Evan Floyd a little mixed in there. But some of the things that Howie said about the stadium as we were walking through it.
Right. He was very astute.
You
He
could
was all
tell that a lot of thought went into this place. They weren't just thinking, hey, let's sit some butts in some seats and we'll make the stadium look kind of cool. They thought about little logistical things that you wouldn't.
Right.
They put some heart into it. They put some soul into it. There's certain places in the stadium where you can stand, particularly in the corners, where you can get a full-on view of the whole stadium. You can get absolutely beautiful photos in there, family photos, group photos. It's like in those back two corners. Okay, and we're back. So like I was saying, the stadium, it's every angle that you can get yourself into in there. It's more or less a beautiful angle. If you go back to the back of Scouse's house and you take a look at the stadium, it really, coming down 64 or 71, sure, it looks cool. You can get a good view there. When you're standing where the big, what do they call it? The giant bar there under the Trinitron monitor, the big monitor.
Right, the world's greatest. It's not the world's largest.
So this is
the world's largest USL display.
That walk-up bar alone is going to be amazing, and especially for Scouse's people over there, I'm super jealous, because all they got to do is turn around and walk up like 5 or 6 stairs, and then bam, they're at a gigantic bar under this huge monitor. They mentioned they keep saying futsal field, so the mini field. I call it a mini field because it's grass, but they keep saying futsal field, which in my mind, it means that they're going to put walls up, but I have no idea. Anyway, some of the things that they said. The team store looks it's almost cavernous. It looks like it's going to be pretty big. Okay. They've got everything in there. It's outfitted with all the ADA stuff. All the stuff that you would expect. The press box, the commentary booth, just everything. It's a really nice looking place. And I don't know if you all noticed, I was coming home the other day, coming down 64. Right. They're putting the roof panels on right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the brown panels are going up.
Okay.
And I noticed, when we walked around one corner when we were at the stadium, and they had all the roof panels laid out. And I noticed like everyone that walked by those was like, ooh, let's get a picture of those.
Nice.
So there's lots of nooks and crannies and stuff that you are not expecting. Okay. Of course, we've got the supporters closet. Let's call it a closet.
So close.
Which is awesome. I saw a picture.
It's the size of a truck trailer, basically.
I saw a picture, and I think it was you and a whole bunch of other guys like piled in there. There probably 16 people inside the closet.
I'm taking measurements, and Scott's like, "Get in there!" I'm like, "Hold on, damn it!"
There's going to be lots of places to go, lots of places to get food. The renderings that you got to see where they did the complete spin around to the stadium, and then you started crying at the end of it because they played My Own Kentucky Home. That's all there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. The luxury suites look really good. They've actually got all the glass on the luxury suites, which was pretty cool to see that. But yeah, they've got the tip. There's so much stuff laying around in there right now. You would think that, they dropped a construction site in there. There's drywall here and there's buckets over here, but it's still like you walk down the ramp to get to the supporter section on our side, and it's just like it was a really cool feeling coming out of the tunnel.
It's gonna be loud.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be absolutely loud.
So loud.
And that's all I can think of. The field looks like it's going to be great. They're putting the drainage systems in right now. They're laying down the black matting that they need to put down. I guess they got to get it level, all that stuff.
Geotextile.
Yeah, this thing, our field's going to be state of the art, people. This is a nice soccer field.
I think they start laying the grass next week, right? I think they say that next week,
so that'll be in by next week.
It'll be in, okay.
And it's apparently it's a special blend of grass. Originally, I thought it was Bermuda, but now it's like
other stuff.
It's something else. And they were Howie was mentioning the mixture in the compound and all this other stuff that they use to make the grass, or grow it, I should say. But they this sounds like it's going to be amazing. I can't. That's all I can really say. It looks wonderful. The speaker system, the sound systems in there look really good.
Can't wait.
Every single little eyelash, I call them eyelashes, that are coming up off there with the light posts. At the bottom of all of those is a speaker, and it is forward facing toward the crowd.
40-inch speaker, man. Not 40-inch, 24-inch.
It's going to sound, look, just everything amazing. I got some good pictures that showed where the sun was going to hit during certain times.
There was some worry about the sun at this time of year going to be in the faces of people on the other side the entire time. That is not the case, because we checked it like 20 after 7, and most of the stadium was already in shade. And the sun's going to be at such a low angle at that point anyway. It's not going to be that bad. I don't think it's not.
I don't think so. There's like the visitor section is going to get the worst of the sun.
Right, which is fine.
It's really fun.
It's kind of the idea, I think. it'll
direct
be there.
sun on the visiting supporters, like right at 7:30. It's great.
Yeah. So thank you for that, folks. Once again, we're going to do our best to. We don't know what's going on with this. I mean, we've had another cutout, so we'll edit this all together, get it on YouTube, get it out there tomorrow. We really apologize. We're doing what we normally do.
Do all the editing, Joe.
Yes. So I guess Rebecca and Katie, if you want to come over now, please. It'd be very kind. It'd be very nice to see you. Folks, we have a couple supporters here who are going to talk about stuff. Rebecca Tamas and Katie Lee McWhorter.
Yeah, McWhorter.
McWhorter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
St. Patrick's shirt, nice.
nice. And
That is a good shirt.
I guess we'll spin that around, and there you go. Because these mics are pretty, very, very strong. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming, Katie. Rebecca, of course, thank you.
About 15 minutes of fame.
Thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely. So Rebecca, I'm going to start with you. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself before you came to your first LouCity game.
Born in the south end of Louisville, moved to Oldham County, went to University of Kentucky undergrad, went to U of L med school, U of L residency, met Ken in 2014, and I'm now a member of the Groove Machine.
A member of the Groove Machine. Yes, you are.
That's my life.
Yes, an OG. Is that the word? Yeah, that's what you say, right?
Yeah.
Original Brewer?
Yes, original Groove.
That mic will pick you real good. You don't have to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have to leave.
No.
Nobody will
no.
question.
Uh,
They'll
It's
take
Yeah, I'm
care of
just
it
a
when you do it, if you wanna
barrel-proof
keep doing it.
podcast where, you never know.
Sorry.
I'm sorry if that was really loud.
No, it's fine.
My
Katie,
apologies.
please.
I grew up here in Louisville. I went to J-Town High School, graduated, went to U of L.
Okay.
Then went to the Ohio University, got my
Oh.
master's in international affairs. I've been working in several different nonprofits ever
Okay.
since.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit, the nonprofits. One of those
Yeah.
specific nonprofits that you used to work for.
Yeah. Harvard
And
House. Yeah.
I'm going to start real quick with you because there's a little bit of a pretty cool event coming up pretty soon for
Yeah.
yourself.
I'm getting married.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're married.
Don't do it.
It's about less than a month now.
It's
right?
like 22 days
It's
away.
that is so awesome. Tell us a little bit about him, please.
His name is Ryan Warner, and we actually met at Slugger Field
There
at
you
Dollar
go.
Beer Night.
There you go.
So
There you go. That's the answer. That's why we're still single. That's why
Dollar
we
beer.
having a dollar beer night. We got to go to a dollar
I
beer
don't think
night.
we need to be hanging around all year. So next time we're up in Pittsburgh.
It'll cost you a lot more.
Yeah,
than
there you go. I'm sorry. Please continue.
our second date was at a LCFC
That's
game.
awesome.
So and our reception is going to be over at the Overlook patio.
Nice.
So yeah,
Looking forward to it. The
Yeah.
music should be pretty good. I heard you got a guest singer.
we do. Well, for the wedding, it's
Yeah, I wonder who that is. He's probably. I heard he's pretty good.
You gonna do show tunes?
Yeah, we're gonna do show tunes. We're gonna do stuff from Cats.
Only if he dresses like a cat.
Yeah, only if I dress like a
Yeah.
cat.
Oh, I would pay to see you. I'm just gonna walk up and request Tiny Tim songs.
There you go. Okay. So
Cheetah bodysuit.
excellent.
Hot.
There's got body. Did you say bodysuit? Please disconnect. Whatever we say. Okay, Rebecca, please. I'm going to start with you. First of all, thank you for everything that you've done. And don't. Thank you for everything that you've done since day one. You're awesome, and I'm glad that we're friends. Well beyond just doing this drum thing.
It feels like a Golden Girls theme song. Thank
You know,
for
you're welcome.
being a friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But-
And if you threw
But anyway, tell me about, and I've never really asked you about this, the very first time that you played drums at the game. Okay, there's got to be something that drives you to do it. I mean, other than just.
I think you drove me to do it, and thank you. I think I was encouraged by Joe to do it. He said, "Keep drumming. Don't let anybody else drum." And I said, "I'm not really a very good drummer, Joe." And he said, "You're doing great. Just keep drumming."
Right.
So I
But-
kept drumming.
So you get up there and you start hitting some drums. It's got to be fun. I mean, there's got to be. I know we've talked about this, but that you never expected to do anything like.
I always wanted to be a drummer. My
Right,
mother
right.
said it's not a feminine thing to do, so I wasn't allowed to be a drummer. So
But
yeah.
so here you are taking rips at the drums.
Yeah.
And you've got to be
Carrying
like,
a drums, I feel like those kids who were drummers back in school, they only have to carry a drumstick.
I mean, you've gotten so
or
good.
two on the bus.
Right.
You've
I had
gotten
a
so
giant
good.
saxophone case, and
Right,
it
right,
was
right.
terrible.
Okay.
I'm like, why didn't I play the flute or the clarinet?
You say that?
She's gotten so good that she's literally training the mayor down there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right, and we're going to get to that. We're going to talk a little bit, but I had no.
Self-taught.
Wait a second. I had no idea that you played other instruments in band. I had no
Not
idea.
well.
But you did.
I mean, yeah.
Come on, marching band.
Second, no, I didn't
No.
march. No.
Okay, concert band.
Yeah.
Okay, and you played some saxophone.
They made you do something. Yeah. So I played saxophone. Because in the 80s, by the way, if you didn't grow up in the 80s, so many songs have saxophones.
That's they do.
in them.
That is so
Like
much.
NXS
that is
used
cool.
a ton of saxophones.
That's one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Yep. Huey Lewis,
I listened to 80s on 8 on Sirius XM and so many saxophones.
Hall and Oates.
Yeah.
Where did all that? Yeah. Oh, I'm going to see them Saturday.
I love
Very
Nothing better
excited.
than
I'm going to miss
seeing
the
rock
game, but I
and
can see Hall and Oates.
I love Hall and Oates.
Lots of, yeah.
That's so amazing. So that was the first time. What's your favorite cadence? Do you have one?
I mean, we did this at the Molly Malone's when
Yeah,
they
but-
said,
yeah,
what's
well, I
your
was doing
favorite
Fame.
one? And Fame. You
I
created
love
Fame,
Fame.
and I remember you creating Fame, and you wanted somebody to come up with what we say, because you had this great beat.
Mhm.
And that St. Patrick's Day, and you were in the St. Patrick's Day shirt,
Mhm.
that St. Patrick's Day parade was just fantastic, because
That's
you
one of
would
my
come up with
favorite
the
memories.
most amazing beat, and we had it, but we didn't have any words.
Words.
So Joe's like, come up with words, and I'm like, I'll come up with something, and I never did, and
You
you
come
did,
up with a
and
lot,
it's
right.
fantastic.
But there's plenty of chairs that you've come up with that I've had plenty of words.
Regardless, your Fame is fantastic.
Thank you.
I hate that I have to like finish it now because I suck, and I'm glad that Kathy, thank you, Kathy Ryan has like taken over, and then Kaylee joined us last time, and just Kaylee and Kathy
With
are
the solo,
adorable.
the little solo part.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm like, give me a count. I can't do it. It's terrible.
I'm going to spin her over this way. Now, I got to know you start a little bit last year. We
Yeah.
started to get to know each other. Tell the first time that you went to a game, you just talked about recently. Had you ever been to a soccer game before or anything like it? Did you?
Actually,
Play-
it was growing up. My brother played soccer, and I
Right,
really
right,
hated it because it ruined my Saturday mornings. Like I couldn't watch cartoons.
Right, no cartoons.
The matches were so early in the morning.
Mhm.
So I kind of always hated soccer
Right.
growing up. But after that, no, I don't think I'd ever gone to any other kind
Okay.
of soccer games other than maybe supported some of our girls soccer team in
Sure.
high school.
Mhm.
But not until that first season.
So I think you just said it was the LCFC was your second date.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm assuming that you're at the date, you're doing date stuff,
hmm
and now you're watching this game. Something makes you want to. Something captures your attention.
The first we went to a game earlier that season.
Okay.
With Harbor House, we were selling ducks.
Mhm.
So it was really windy, and I think I was quacky, and like you're
Yes.
getting blown around.
Oh, I can't wait to
and-
ask you about that.
So that was earlier in the season, and then the players had come out to Harbor House, and so I think that was that next day was another event where they had a lot of nonprofits come out
Okay.
and do that kind of thing. So we got free tickets, and
Right.
Ryan was actually really adamant about coming down. He really wanted to see what it was like with the Coopers
Mhm.
and hanging out by the drums, and so we did, and basically kind of got hooked.
And then the section you guys sit. If you haven't seen Katie, you all sit just over our right shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get plenty of the noise. The first experience hearing all of that drumming and hearing all of that stuff, what was that like?
It was amazing. It was so
Insane.
like electrifying. And then you just become a part of everybody. And I think one of the games we went to, like people gave us a flag. They just gave it. They were like, "You need to have this."
Bring
And I'm
this
like,
flag.
"These people are amazing."
Right.
Yeah.
So go the other way now. I mean, you're always in the middle of it. I mean, you're always in the middle of playing. When you walk away from it, I mean, it's times you get to get a drink, whatever. Is it weird? I feel weird when I walk away from it and I'm not playing and I hear drumming. Do you feel like that? What about you guys? I mean, everybody. Do you,
Derek, Matt.
do you? I mean, it feels weird for me when I stop playing and walk away. I'm like, I'm not playing. But I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it does for me because when I'm not playing, I'm sitting in Scouse's house
Right.
because it's a nice place to sit.
Yeah.
And usually I'm like sick or tired or injured or something, so that's why I'm not playing.
It's
It's odd.
I got real sick last year and had to go over there. That was after I got bit by that stinking spider. So I couldn't really use my arm a whole lot,
Mhm.
and I went and sat at Scouse's house, and it was super weird. I mean, not being in Scouse's house, but like not drumming was weird.
Yes? No? Maybe?
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's a part of us now.
Right.
We are interconnected. We
Yeah.
are, you're my brothers,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
and my sisters.
Right. It's just weird.
Shauna.
It's just, it seems the more, and I'm gonna,
Happy.
same thing, you've gotten involved with, I mean, you've got, mention some of the folks that you hang out with, please, because I love those
there's
folks.
Trish Blair,
which we've got to have on.
Tracy.
She's all right.
Yeah, oh yeah. Tracy.
She's a whack.
Trish, she knows everything though.
Yes.
She's the smartest person I know.
Mhm. And then you all became, I mean, you all kind of knew each other already? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
When I went to U of L, Trish was actually my boss
Okay.
at the library.
Okay.
Media
And then there's some of the other folks. Tracy sits up front there.
Yeah,
and so,
Jessica McGraw.
right, Jessica.
Chase,
Chase.
and Amy, and a lot of their friends will now come to games and are
Right.
season ticket holders, and yeah.
And so, I mean, we're talking about how this became, very family-like. I mean, I'm assuming that's sort of, because when I see you all, it's one group to me. I don't see one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm wondering, I mean, I'm assuming that was built, you may have known a couple of people, but I guess the bonds that were built while you come to these games has become really important.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure.
And do you do stuff away from the stadium together as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we just went up to the Pittsburgh game. Tracy,
Right.
Trish, and I, we traveled up there for that. That was
That's kinda
so
cool.
much fun.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How was that? Did you have a good time?
It's good. Pittsburgh's a great city. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's so cool.
And that view. Oh,
yeah,
that-
Yes.
the view's amazing, is it
It's
not?
a
I
really
mean,
great city.
and you're sitting there watching. You go to an away game, right? And you experience what we experience in our section, as crazy it gets, and then you watch other people's supporter sections. Do you feel bad? I kind of feel bad. And I'm not trying to knock. Look, I think supporters that go to teams that are not well supported from a numbers perspective,
Yeah, Pittsburgh's
I have a ton of
okay.
respect for them.
It's the two teams that are the worst.
Yeah.
Right, the two teams.
Yeah.
Right on. But it's kind of fun watching. It's kind of fun watching them and going, they don't do Vamos Morados. You know, I got to be honest with you. I like
Las
bragging.
Vegas Lights was super fun. Though.
They're
Ken and I
insane.
had so much fun with them. And
Tell
they
us
were
about
very welcoming, and they let me drum, and
Right.
I forgot that I wasn't with us, and
Right.
so I would start doing things that they don't do. You know,
Right.
immigrant song would just pop out of me
Right.
because I'm used to it. I'm like, why are you doing it? Oh, you don't do that. You know, so I would just start doing things that they're like,
Right.
yeah. So, but they were super fun and welcoming. If you get a chance to go to a Las Vegas Lights game, you should so go.
Yeah, it looks like that
They're
crowd is
great.
pretty lit. I mean, they look like they're pretty.
Well, they're
pretty-
the electric company.
Right,
So
right.
they are lit because they're the
Hey.
lights.
How about
yeah,
that?
they're totally
I didn't
lit.
even plan
It's
that.
fantastic.
I didn't even plan that at all. So I'm gonna assume that you've already got tickets, Katie, in the new stadium. Yeah?
Actually, we did not.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, like well, Ryan Works, they always had free tickets, and I
Okay.
was like, well, we could just go for free. So
Right, So I'm assuming. I mean, getting
we planned on going.
Right.
pretty much all
So
games, you know.
the pictures of the stadium, it's going to be so much louder. Are you going to be a standing section person, or are you?
Yeah, we want to go to the
So-
supporters section.
Right, and
Yeah.
now people have been surprised that that's going to be safe standing. I thought like anybody that went to a game knew this already, and it's been like people really go, I didn't know that. Have you not been watching? I mean,
I was a little surprised at how much standing section there is.
yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah,
It's like
very-
1,900 people or something. Well, is it all? Yeah, it is. It's pretty huge.
1950, Kansas.
1950? Is that many? It's gonna be big. There's gonna be a lot of standing people.
Yep.
What is that word you just said?
Standing people. Maron.
Ma-
Maron is Italian. It's Marona. It's it's not really a swear, but if you said it in English, it kind of could be almost.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Okay.
I appreciate you keeping tabs on me.
Wanted to
So
let you
now
know.
tell me a little bit about the wedding. Tell us about stuff that you're going to be doing. I mean, coming to the game.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
it's October 12th, and we have the home game. So the wedding's at church in Lanesville, and Joe's singing at
I'm
it.
singing
So
at
it's I'm sure people are going to try to sneak in to hear that.
Oh, boy.
And,
I'm going to sing the national anthem at your wedding. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
That would
That'd be
and then everybody
fantastic.
has to
Everybody
stand
stands
back up.
Yeah, stand up. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
See,
Hey,
see a priest stand up like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and coming back, going to travel back. Is there people coming back to the game?
Oh yeah.
Reception is at.
The game at the Overlook patio, and
And then you're all going to come hang out
sharing
afterwards,
it
right?
with the Scouts house. Yeah, and we are, yeah.
That should be kind of fun. I mean, that's
So you didn't have to pay for a reception hall, right?
I mean, we do. Well, but you know,
Kinda.
it's so much a person with the buffet. We're gonna have like hot dogs and nacho bar, and so that's awesome. Chicken tenders. Yeah.
I'm already hungry.
I've been, yeah, right. I mean, I've done I used to play in a wedding band that did huge weddings in Long Island and these monstrous places where people, I'm not kidding you, $40,000 just for the reception hall.
Wow.
Okay. The most fun I've ever had at weddings, playing at weddings, the VFW, people's backyards.
Right.
I mean, that's so much more fun because it's a lot less. It's a lot less formal.
Stress levels.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you're not thinking I spent 40 grand on this, and
Right. I mean, to me, that's just. I'm looking forward to it. I really I'm looking forward to the wedding and the reception, but I'm looking forward to when you all come back after the reception during the game.
Yeah.
Because to carry that sort of happiness down there, I think it's going to help. I think it's going to help a
Yeah,
lot.
that'll be fun.
Can you run across the field? We
We
just
do
saw
get our-
Drew Barrymore and that Jimmy Fallon, and she like ran across the field. Red Sox.
We do get our
You
picture
do that?
taken on the field at halftime.
Okay.
They're letting us, like, the whole
that is
group, or
awesome.
as many people as sign the release form are allowed to go down there with us.
Do I have to? What do I have to wear? Do I have to wear like this?
No, you just something. I mean,
Just wear something.
yeah, this
Can I wear
is my.
this?
Yeah.
We're the
Yeah.
cat. We're the cat suit.
Because I'm saying that.
Yeah, you have to dress it like a cat.
Yeah, wear the
like,
cat
this
suit.
is
I'm
fine.
gonna wear the cat suit.
You need a kilt.
I need a kilt.
Cat suit, you need a kilt.
Ooh, that'd
Yes.
be cool.
with a tail on it.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about something I think everybody has an interest in, is that NWSL. So it looks like that's going to happen. I mean, based on the article that I read today, it said that the person who's basically the owner of the Portland Thorns, right? That's the name of it, said in an article very recently that there are going to be 3 expansion franchises. He's in charge of the expansion. 2 teams next year, 1 team in 2021. He said that there's 1 MLS team, 1 team that's going to be an MLS, and a USL team. He said that there's 2 teams from the South and 1 team from the West Coast. So I'm assuming immediately Atlanta is going to be one of them anyway. Okay, because they've already put money in. That's like the worst kept secret in the world. Sacramento is a team going to MLS, and then there's another team from the South that's in USL. It's got to be us.
I would think so.
I mean, so I'm assuming, that's my guess, that it's going to be Atlanta, Sacramento, and Louisville.
I've seen an article where someone went on and just kind of spelled out that that's where people think, which 3 teams people are thinking.
I hope so.
Yes. So
I don't always think of us as very south, as someone from
Some
here.
people.
right.
I get that. I know.
You're
Right.
wrong.
I know.
They're wrong.
We've been Atlantic Coast Conference and like
Right.
Southeast
ECC,
Conference is
Big East.
UK, and
Right,
we're
right.
yeah, like it's confusing.
Yeah, and I don't think
we
of
don't
this-
even know where we are.
I don't even think of this as I've never thought of this as a Southeast city. Never. I've always thought of this as Midwest. Never thought of this as South.
Us too, yeah.
So the NWSL thing is going to be phenomenal. What do you think about the attendance? If are you from this area? I mean, you said you are.
Yeah.
You think, how well is that going to be attended? Do you think? I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I hope it's filled. It's just that
Yeah.
I'm not from this area, so I don't know enough about not just the group of people that hang out in this general. I mean, the county. Hello again. Hi everybody. We'll piece this all together. Like I said, we really apologize. We were talking about NWSL, and I completely forgot where we were going with that. We were talking about how well attendance wise, because it's going to be a completely different crowd. I think.
Right.
It's going to be more. It's going to be more younger. I think it's going to be a little younger.
I mean, they get pretty good attendance for the lady cards.
Yes.
Things like that. So that's encouraging.
Yes, and I mean, like I said, not being from this area, I have no idea. I mean, I'll be there, but I don't know anything about, like the demographic. I don't know anything about that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. What else? Is there anything you guys want to bring up? I mean, is there anything I know I asked you all on it? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? If not, I'm going to jump in and ask you about this Harbor House thing, because I know you used to work for Harbor House. First thing I would ask about is being quacky. Because you had the experience of being quacky. We're going to try and get quacky to come and play drums with us.
Yeah.
So what's it like being quacky?
It's a lot of fun. I remember the first time I did that, I just started working there, and they were like, "Oh, we have this mascot thing, and we need somebody to do it." And I was like, "Yes."
Okay.
So yeah, it's tons of fun. I walked out. It was at Mockingbird Valley, and I came out from where we have with your handler, and you get dressed and you come out and you're guided because you only have so much visibility. And all of a sudden I walk up to like that glass thing, there's like little kids, and I'm like, oh look, there's little kids, I'll make them so happy. And I like frightened them, and they just ran away screaming from me. So that was sort of my introduction to being a mascot.
Okay.
And I loved it.
So, and we're looking at, I mean, just a little bit of your experience with Harbor House, since we're partnering with them for this mini marathon.
Yeah, I worked many different kinds of jobs there. I did, I was an employment specialist, so we were working with individuals with disabilities, both like our participants that attend Harbor House, but also that are referred to them from the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. So it could be anybody like from the age of 18 to like a 65, and they could have just maybe a learning disability, and we can kind of help them talk to employers and advocate for themselves, just to show them how you can talk about what it is you have, or if you need to learn or need to be trained in a different way. Okay. Shadowing them, training them, teaching them about resume writing too. I worked doing a lot of the development work. I worked with like Sarah and
right, Sarah McEntee.
So
so she's been there for a while then. I mean,
yeah. I think like 5 years
really
or so.
She's very, very cool.
Yeah. They're awesome over there.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be, it sounds like a really rewarding experience. I mean, I hit it off with them immediately, you know, and you start talking about those kinds of needs, because as a medical professional, right? I mean, you see the really obvious things publicly that we talk about, but adult care and people that have those kind of things, pretty important. I mean,
very important.
Very important. Thank you.
Mental health is important for everyone
Yes.
at all times. And
Okay.
suicide rates are going up, and that's terrible. And opioid overdoses are going up, and that's terrible.
That's terrible too.
Yes.
So I don't ask people whether they're doing the mini or not. I won't ask anybody to do that. But I know there's a right way and wrong way to do health stuff, right? Health stuff.
Like if you're going to run the mini just without warming up or practicing, that would be bad. Yes.
It would be bad.
Prepare
for it.
Yes.
I'm asking as a medical professional, because I'm not a medical. I mean, I did it a couple of times before.
Yeah, no, you've done the many. That's awesome.
Yeah,
by the way,
and I look forward to it.
It's really inspiring.
Thank you.
To everyone.
And I'm looking forward to everybody who's getting involved in it, to doing it, and looking at it as a way to tie it into other community efforts. I know that you've worked in town for years. The need to do this is pretty important. I think not just I'm talking about Louisville City supporters specifically.
Tell people more how it's going to work, because you have the different groups. You have
there's going to be there will be
runners.
There'll be four. And first of all, thank you everybody that's rejoining. We apologize. I mean, we're doing nothing different than we've done all these other times, and it looks like there's some sort of connection issue, but it's probably a signal issue, not with the Wi-Fi or anything else. There's something going on with Facebook tonight. So it has nothing to do with anything that's been going on here. So we apologize for that.
I know my Wi-Fi is good.
His Wi-Fi is fine. You have an outstanding Wi-Fi.
Blame it on Zuckerberg.
Yeah, blame Zuckerberg, damn it.
If I notice, some behind the scenes stuff. I typically watch the stream on my cell phone to make sure that it doesn't have any inconsistencies, and it's buffering like crazy tonight. So I don't know. I'm guessing it's Facebook Live. But.
Yeah, it's got to be, because there's nothing. I mean, it's the same laptop we've used every time. So we apologize for that. Answering the question, there is. For the people that are choosing to get involved in this, you do not have to run. That's the first thing. You can walk the entire thing, and you do not have to do the entire course. If you choose, you can get a relay team together, 4 people, whatever, which is roughly a 5K. You walk 5K every day. If you have a job and you leave your house, you're probably walking 5K every day. So it's not like, there's some people that are really looking to do other things just than that. But if that's something that you're interested in, and Katie, like you were talking about, these are the folks there could really need this. I mean, do you remember how many people a day roughly they would serve?
I feel like when they were there, there would be about maybe 100. Well, 100 participants overall, and then I think on a daily basis it was maybe 50 to 70 or something like that. And they do activities, and they have ways to earn money while they're there, and other opportunities to interact in field trips. And there's a sensory garden, And then they're, planning on building a new facility that's intergenerational. So it's like bringing children and senior citizens together. So it's pretty cool stuff.
And like we were saying, the need in the community for this and for people to reach out. I guess if people were looking to do we're spitballing here, we're just making stuff up. What other things do you think we can do other than what we've been doing with Angel Share and this mini thing? What would you suggest if somebody came to you and said, I want to try and do something? What is there anything?
I mean, there's a million charities out there, and so many people need so many things, and everybody has their own interest in things. If they had a family member with this, or a family member with that, or a kid with this, or everybody has got their own thing, and I love that we're contributing to local charities with Angel Share in particular. I think Michelle and Sean are doing a fantastic job with Angel Share, and trying to keep it not giving to giant corporations,
because that just gets lost, right? I mean, it seems like the bigger they are,
maybe 1% of our donations helps out. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like there's more of a overhead. Maybe, I don't know.
Which is always good to know. If somebody solicits money from you, how much is actually going to help people and how much is going to administration?
Right.
That's a good
But it's
question
very important to be able to hire and pay those people very well, being somebody that works in the social work field. I mean, like you're not going to keep those people. They get burned out and they're working extra hours and they're doing these things and they're volunteering their time and going above and beyond. And unfortunately, you lose a lot of them because you're not.
Oh yeah, social workers have always never been reimbursed.
Trying to reconnect.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. I'm talking about the big corporations, Susan G. Komen,
that abuse those funds
instead of a local Gilda's club. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I totally know what you mean. But I feel like some people are like, well, I only want to
even Kentucky Humane Society versus U.S. Humane Society.
Yeah.
Big differential in where the money goes.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
We got buffered again.
All right.
We'll just plow through. We're just gonna plow through.
That's it. We're cursed.
We're gonna keep plowing.
Never invite Katie me again. It's really
all right.
So we're getting the chicken next episode.
We're the chicken is coming next episode.
Ducks are better than chickens.
Next epic. Folks, we're gonna keep plugging through. We're just gonna keep trying. I mean, it's not us. So I want to do a little bit of something fun. You guys want to do something fun for a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
You want to join us?
Come on, Ken.
Ken, grab a chair. Ken Luther's going to join us for this one. And we'll just keep, folks, we apologize. There's not much, there's absolutely nothing we can do about this. We've done, I feel bad, and I know it's a basic thing. We're not looking to do anything super, but we still want to do a good job for everybody. So, hi, Ken. How are you? Hi. You'll be picked up just fine, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
pretty
loud.
Yes,
most likely, yeah.
All right. So folks, like I said, we're just going to plow through. We're going to have a little fun because I'm kind of bummed right now that the stupid and it's like I said, it's nothing that's going on here. So I'm going to ask a question. It's very simple, nothing very deep, but I want to see what you guys think about this, and give me your honest answers. Very simple. Some place that you have never been to that you want to visit.
Let's start with Ken.
Let's start with Ken. Where have you never been that you'd like to go?
Actually, I want to go to Hungary.
Hungary?
Hungary.
Best.
Hungary.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Hungary. Did he say, thank you for catching that? Because I'm sitting there going, Hungary is a very interesting place.
Yeah. Hungary, it's right near Bulgaria.
Budapest.
Budapest. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, some of you know I'm not so much a bourbon guy as a Scotch guy, so I'd like to go to Villafroy Distillery.
Okay.
In Scotland.
In Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. I've been there. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Indonesia.
Damn.
I actually took Indonesian as the language when I was in grad school. I never got to use it. So I'm always like, one day I got to restudy and like.
Bali?
Yeah, Bali's one of them. Jakarta. Yeah.
Golly, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say something like Dayton.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to Dayton. 6 or 7 years ago, when Lincoln was born, I was trying to get contracted to go to Antarctica and work at the Neuromeyer Research Station.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I want to go to Antarctica, and one day I'm going to do it.
My dad.
So-
I'm going to say this. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you. My dad was on Operation Deep Freeze when he was in the Navy. He was the first. He's horror stories.
Yeah.
It was crazy. What do you think? I know you've been everywhere. You've been in a lot of places.
I have not.
Really?
But I would love to go to Stuttgart with Ken because he loves Stuttgart and lived there, and so he would be able to. And the Volksfest, which is like Oktoberfest, but it's better, right? I hear. I would love to go to Volksfest at Stuttgart.
That sounds kind of cool. I want to go to Yellowstone. I've never been to Yellowstone. Of all the places, I've been all over the country. I've never been to Yellowstone.
Bears there.
Yeah, there's bears.
I went to Yellowstone when I was like 12, and I feel I want to go back, but it's because
He didn't have the beard before he went. He had the beard after he came back.
well, I feel like I would respect it more because I went there when I was 12.
Absolutely.
You know, I didn't feel the way about it then that I probably would now. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
a beautiful place.
You're absolutely right. I would have never appreciated. I've driven very, very close to it. And I toured through that area, and there's no way I would have appreciated it because the first thing we've been asked, like, "Where's the beer?" You know, can we stop with the trees? You know, whatever. But okay, here we go. This is a soccer-specific one. Game day superstitions. Do we have any game, be it home games or away games, Matt?
Yep.
What do you got?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I'm so superstition is bad luck.
Wow.
Okay. You have any, Katie?
I always have to have a beer with Trish Blair.
Okay, well that's something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Purple underwear.
I'm so glad you told me that. Rebecca's like, yeah,
She knows.
It's true, because I have to make sure they're clean.
Oh my God.
For game day.
That is so
Yes,
fun.
I have to make sure they're ready.
That is
So
so.
I do. Yeah, I use Lady Gaga's Fame perfume that day because
Come
it's
on.
purple and it's got sort of a grape-like scent.
No kidding.
So I will only use Lady Gaga's Fame
That's
perfume
awesome.
on game day.
That is so awesome. Derek,
I have to take 71 to all the home games, and then I have to go down River Road
I did the same.
every time. Then we're gonna have a bad day.
I buy beer at the exact same store. I take the exact same roads across the bridge and go down Mount Tabor. I have to go through the one gate to pay. I won't go through the gate by the stadium. I have to go through the one on the other side. And then when I sing the national anthem, like the last time we sang it, I sang it at center field, and I didn't do it there last year. I always did it by home plate, and we lost. So I have to do it Saturday by home plate. It's totally my fault. I'm going to own it.
You had a winning streak going too. It was really
Yes,
awesome.
it broke my heart.
We had money on you.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Fun fact about yourself that no one would guess. Like I won the 6th grade spelling bee or something.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I want you to go first. I'm sure you have plenty of fun facts that nobody knows.
You can switch it. I used to own a Cajun restaurant.
Did you
That's
really?
unusual.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that, where was that? Was that in town? Or?
Lexington. So
Oh my
in
gosh.
town, close. Yeah. That's random.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, it's helped you out there.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
I was a classical violinist.
No. Come on.
Sort of, kind of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, how old were you when you started?
4, 5.
Jeez Louise. That's a hard instrument to learn how to play.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Like
tuning.
a tiny one, you're not. That's the first one.
Matthew?
You're a virtuoso.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't say that you were a mascot. We already know that.
I am going to say that I was a mascot. Senior year of high school, I was the mascot at every sporting event and also the captain of the chess team.
Oh,
There's a mascot. I did not know the chess.
Yeah.
chess team.
Nice. Never played Mountain chess.
I can
The money.
move one eye and not the other.
Come on.
Oh
Oh my gosh.
Done.
We may ask her to go up to the camera and do it later.
Trust.
I have an arrow of light in scouting, and I'm an Eagle Scout.
Nice. What's an arrow?
Not practicing. It's the highest award that you can get in scouting.
That's the thing you need to defeat Ganon, right?
So
Yeah.
So an arrow of light is the highest? Or is it
I
Eagle
got
Scout?
an arrow of light when I was 17 years old. 16 or 17 years
Okay.
old.
That's kind of cool.
There
Wow.
you
I
go.
was in a Bud Light commercial.
Yeah.
I was back in
Were you
19.
supposed to be? Or
Yes,
you
I was. It was back
What's
in
going on?
1990. I want to say it was 90. Me and my brother used to be the band director at Sayreville High School. And Sayreville was where John Bon Jovi's from. So we were getting ready for band camp. We go to this restaurant for lunch, and they're having this stupid recording thing. And what they were doing was Bud Light was running this Bud Light Spotlight on, and they would go to different parts of New Jersey. They just happened to be at this big old restaurant that me and my brother were having lunch at.
They probably went to the classiest places.
Yeah, right. And it was just this big old restaurant that we used to play at. And then there were people auditioning like, dude, you want to go try this? He's like, yeah, what the hell? We go on and they put us on. I made like $1,500 off the damn commercial.
Sweet.
Wow.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool being in a Bud Light commercial.
What'd you do with your $1,500?
I'm sure I spent it on I probably spent it on instruments.
On Coors Light.
Yeah.
We're still,
Yeah.
we're all still waiting on our paychecks for all of the LouCity commercials that we've been in.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
Here you go.
I think
This
we're
is,
gonna be waiting for a while.
this
We
is
signed our rights away and we didn't know it.
okay. So you're going on a road trip, and you have to drive for a little while. It's going to be a nice, quiet road. What are one of your 2 go-to songs in your playlist?
Songs.
I know music is always so personal to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like people really think about the music they play. So, see, this is like I knew this would happen. It was like,
I know exactly what mine are.
do it, man, do
Go
it.
on.
Amon Amarth, The Way of the Vikings is one of them.
I've never heard of that.
When you get in your car tonight and go home, you
I
should
will.
listen to
I will.
Amon Amarth.
I will.
You'd like that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Daft Punk. What is it? Better, harder, stronger, faster. I don't know. Yeah.
You don't strike me as a Daft Punk fan.
I listen to all kinds of stuff.
No, I know that, but I mean, I would think other things. Like I would think techno before that.
I'm
I'm just saying. I don't.
I listen to a lot of synthwave,
Okay.
like 80s sounding
Right,
retro
right,
synthwave.
Right. That's what I assume. Right.
I drive. Well, I shouldn't. I drive very fast and responsibly when I listen to synthwave.
Responsibly
Like-
breakneck.
That's awesome.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm actually a big techno fan.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, so it doesn't actually have to be a song. It can just be beats and
The beats or
all that.
I don't like a lot of lyrics.
I'm not a big lyric fan. I'm like I'm almost kind of like a cheesy EDM person without the lyrics.
Yeah.
I drive Rebecca crazy because I'll put it on like German techno
Oh wow.
on the house.
Sunshine Light.
And Sunshine Light.
drive.
Yeah,
Really?
and I'll just play it for hours.
Okay. No kidding.
I
I mean, would you drive? No, let me go through. Let's go ahead.
Okay, well, I think you know by now, if nothing else than from karaoke, that I'm into metal.
Yes, you are.
So I go with one of the genre-defining songs, Master of Puppets.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
we tried to write that as a soccer song, actually.
We tried to. Yes, I kind of remember that.
It was
He's
Cameron.
his name Lancaster.
yeah, it was Cameron's song. It didn't work.
Les Claypool was really good at that song.
So it'd be anything metal.
I remember after Burton died, he tried out for Metallica.
Mm-hmm. They said he was too good.
Katie.
That's hard because I feel like for road trips, it's kind of like who you're with too in the
Okay,
car. So like when
that's
I'm
true.
riding with Ryan, we're listening to like Rush and Jethro Tull
Nice.
and
Nice.
progressive stuff. If it's like our trip
The
to
Supper Madness. Yeah.
So and then like if it was like me and Trish and Tracy, we played a game where we just like everybody has to pick a song, and if you can't think of it, you're skip. So like we
Okay.
just whatever comes to mind, you like get it played. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's always different.
Somewhat non-specific answer, but I was driving to Lexington on a road trip
Okay.
yesterday, day before, and it was the top 100 on 80s on 8 at Sirius XM, and I knew basically every word to every song of the top 100. And
80s,
so anything 80s and it
80s
was
is my
just
guilty.
fantastic.
That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
There's 2 songs that came to my mind today. I mean, because you ask somebody what your favorite song is, and it almost changes daily. For me, it changes daily. Whatever. But that song "Jessica" by the Allman Brothers, it's been in a bunch of movies, and you'd recognize it immediately if you heard it. And then there's a song that I would seriously tell people, check it out. Artist Thomas Dolby is amazing. I mean, everybody knows it from "Blinded Me with Science," right? And because it's such a goofy tune. That's the only tune like that he has. I mean, he's really like this deep thinker type guy. There's a song called "Beauty of a Dream" that when I get in a car, I have to listen to it, especially if I'm driving someplace quiet, like through the country or something like that. It is such an amazingly cool song. So I would suggest anybody go check that out. "Beauty of a Dream" by Thomas Dolby. Does the music change that you already said that the music's going to change depending on you? If you're driving through the city versus the country versus, I'm sure the music's going to
And
change.
your mood, if I'm
Yeah,
angry
if you're
versus
angry,
I'm
right,
happy,
right,
I want to drive fast or slow.
Right.
There's a Joe Vowels that does like a "Who I Am" song.
Yes,
You can
Joe
download
Vowels does have a
iTunes,
little bit of a.
right?
Yes.
There's a Joe Vowels song you could download on iTunes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I actually forgot about
I cannot go on a road trip without "Who I Am."
That's
by
so
Joe
funny.
Vowels.
I forgot about my own music. That is
Well,
great.
just remember this safety tip. When you're listening to music and driving, keep your eyes on the road, your hands upon the wheel.
There you go. There you go. Little doors action there. All right, so here's one this one might take a little bit of thought. So you are asked, okay, to give a little bit of an inspirational speech to the players at halftime. What would you say to the players? Is there anything that you would say that you think would help them out wisdom wise? Not even, but like, what would you say? What do you think you would say to them? Like somebody said, it doesn't even have to be players. Anybody in general.
LETSGO, that's the way we spell let's go, let's go.
Okay.
Are we losing? Are we losing?
Okay, we're losing. We're down 1-0 and it's halftime. And they say, hey, Ken, come on, man. Say something to the guys.
Well, I mean, that's a war story.
Okay.
Then probably we'd lose worse after that.
But, I mean, what do you think, Matt?
Guys, I got James O'Connor's phone number. I will call him out. If
He's
you
gonna
get
yell
out
at
there
you.
and kick ass.
Good.
Darren?
Back in 2013, I'll make this real quick.
Sure.
I went to Pleasure Ridge Park High School, and we never won district or anything. We just couldn't get it done. I went out in 2013 to watch them win district, and they played Fairdale, and Fairdale came in as a heavy favorite. We thought that our kids were going to get destroyed. I was mentoring a couple of kids out there, but Fairdale got off their bus, and the kids, they literally got off the bus and were doing cartwheels.
Come on.
And it made me mad. And I went up and talked to Phil Bohannon, he's the current head coach for PRP. And I went and talked to him, and I'm like, hey, can I talk to your kids before the game?
Right.
And he's like, sure. And I went and I told him, I'm like, they think they're going to come in here and destroy you. And they're having a good time. They think it's funny. They're here to beat you. I mean, I wouldn't tell this to guys in the USL, but I'm sure it sounded a little.
No,
bit,
I understand.
Like, don't let anybody come in here and push you around. Would be what I would tell our guys. This is your place.
Okay.
Nobody comes in here and pushes you around. This is your life, your sport. Just go out there and get it done.
Okay. Katie?
Katie.
I just looked at you and just said Katie. I'm sorry about that. Katie? Rebecca?
I don't know, like a Rudy chant. Rudy.
Okay.
Give her the gift.
Rudy. That's awesome. I love that movie, by the way. Guys cry at that movie. I know I have. What do you think?
I did LATS.
LTS, that's it? That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the way it was spelled.
Look, I thought if somebody asked me to talk to a sports team, I would say, young kids, I'd be like, I hope you guys are digging this because you don't know. Number one, you don't know if you're going to get a chance to do this next week. You have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea where you're going to be. And then the other thing would be is you're going to blink your eyes. You're going to be 50. I hope you're digging this. I hope that you're enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying what you're doing because, man, it goes fast.
And you're going to remember everything.
I don't mean to be so serious, but it's true.
Joe's had time to think about these.
Yeah, that's right. I've had time to think, so I apologize for that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that it makes it
Sitting
sound.
at home, coming up with the questions. and then
So I
coming up with the
apologize.
answers.
You're right. Which leads me to something that I want to talk about, and it really wanted to be this, to make this a lead into something. How much we appreciate and how important this has become to all of us. You know what I'm saying, Katie? And I know all these folks. We've never really hung out a whole lot and talked. What does this become to you? I mean, is this, did you expect it to be regardless of the level? I mean, I have no idea what it is, and there's no wrong answer. I'm just wondering, how much this has become part of what you do on a daily basis in everything, and not so much just the team. I mean, talking about supporters, friends, like I was talking about before.
Yeah, we were talking, I think on our trip up to Pittsburgh, about how being in Louisville and like I don't know, I've never experienced this level of being a part of a group and fandom and supporter groups. And I think the closest I ever got were like being a part of the Rosie Reds, which I never got to go to the meetings because that's for the women's supporter group for the Cincinnati Reds. Okay. My family's all from Ohio, so I'm a big Reds and Bengals fan. Right. So every team I've ever, other than maybe the University of Louisville, but I think it's different at a college level that, I don't know, I don't have that. I've never experienced anything like this. And it's very cool to meet so many new people, and there's so many just group outings and things you can do and meet new people and hang out. And everybody seems so cool and open to everything. So.
Rebecca, what do you think? I mean, did you expect it to be have this kind of impact? I mean, I don't think anybody expected it to be this kind of an impact in our lives, but you know, how much has it become? I mean, what is it, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing that I get to know people that I would otherwise not know and that I actually care about, that I would, if their car were broken down in the middle of the road and they sent me a text or I would go help them. And I never would have known these people and they can stay in my house now. And it's people that I otherwise never would have spent time with, and they're awesome. I love all the Purple family. People who have different views, like politically or UK U of L-ish or whatever, I still care about them because they care about Louisville City, and therefore I care about them, and that's our bond.
I learned how intense this U of L UK thing is, and I lived out here for a bunch of years, and I had no idea. I didn't really pay attention to it through the Louisville supporters because I didn't know it was like, because I never went on Twitter before this, and I hope to God I never have to again. But you know, the people really chew on each other on this U of L UK.
Oh yeah.
You know, Kenneth, I'd like to ask you the same question, please.
So, you know, I was a Manchester United fan, like early for an American.
And sadly, you still are.
Pretty sad.
They can come to our stadium now and play. And
nothing wrong with Manchester United.
But I was always alone. So I'd watch the games alone, screaming at the TV or whatever, alone.
Right.
And then when I lived in Germany, there was this whole, I mean, I went to Stuttgart games and I was like, holy crap, this is unbelievable. 5,000 strong supporters groups just going nuts. And then the other supporters groups would come in and be throwing stuff at you, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I want to be part of that. But, you know, going back to America, you're like, you don't really get that. And then, you know, I kind of showed back up in Louisville, and I went to the Molly Malone's for a Man U game, and there were other people who were just as passionate about Man U as I was.
Okay.
You know, like 10 people, 20 people, which is better than one by yourself.
Sure.
Kelly's more passionate, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so that was a lot of fun. But then when the Little City started, it was like just magnified. Yeah. 100-fold. And you were just, you know, you were part of this fanaticism. And tons and tons of people just, you know, as into it as I was.
Right.
So that's cool.
You have a problem getting into sports, though. Right? That was sarcasm.
Yeah.
I love that you get wound up.
I'm not. You can't wind me up.
No, we all went to the. A bunch of us were at the Louisville game, the Louisville U of L UK game.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you remember this. It was a lot of fun. I mean, U of L just pummeled them.
Yeah.
But it was getting later in the second half, and both of us were like, man, we got to do a cheer or something. So we started up something. You started it. You started singing something. I started joining you. Yeah, right. And then they scored.
Yeah.
And then the first thing, we just jump up and hug. We're like, yeah! It was so funny.
And that's a way to release your emotions.
Yes.
Sing together.
Have fun.
Vehemently.
Yes, and the more synchronized it is, the better it is. How much do you all get? I don't even look because we're so about playing. Do you all? All right, let me ask you this first. Do you hear the lyrics of the cheers enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I might not know all the words.
Right.
Yeah, just
make up all I make up my own words, or sounds to it. For the most part, yeah.
So, do you, speaking to the folks in your section, do they want more? Do they want less? Do they like what we do? I mean, has it ever come up? And once again, there's no wrong answer. I mean, we have to keep tailoring it to what everybody wants.
I think the only more recent complaint has been about the bagpipe dude, because you can't hear anything else
Okay.
from him.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, like, we love it because it sounds amazing, but maybe not all the time.
Right.
Like, it's awesome.
You're right.
But, yeah.
You're right. And that's part of the challenge of doing stuff like this.
One of the coolest moments, though, was having the bagpipe dude and the mariachi.
And mariachi band. I mean, that's like about right. What is going on?
I love the bugle guy. The awesome. Love it. I don't know if it's a bugle.
And it's just, and he got that trumpet plated purple. That's not cheap. That is not cheap to do.
He's so good. I want him to do more.
Yeah, he will. He will. And that's the hope the hope being is that more people.
I like that whole brass section.
So would I. I would love to get. Here's the thing.
I would do techno songs, man. If we had a brass section, I've already worked it out in my head.
Get Timmy trumpet down here.
He has. He was a
We need a Casio keyboard or something, don't we? Or some kind of scratch.
Guitar.
I don't know. Yeah.
Guitar, yes. Joe, you gotta play a guitar.
Play a keytar, which is like the most unmetal thing ever. But, yeah, I mean, to see people hanging out and bonding like that, I like to ask people that don't normally do the drum thing, because we want to do better. I mean, whatever it is, we want to make sure, and that goes out to anybody that's listening that isn't in the section. You know, suggestions are okay. If there's something that you want to hear, if there's something that you think is, just say it. Number one, I'm going to listen. You know, and the thing is that we might not be able to comply, but you'll get a reason why. I mean, it's not like I will never go to somebody or have somebody come up to me and say, you know what, it'd be nice if you get away from me. That's not right. That's not nice.
We need purple leotards.
Depends on who it is. Wait a second. Am I wearing the purple?
Of course.
Give your cheetah suit on.
Yes. Purple cheetah suit.
As long as I get to wear my drumming thong under it, it's fine.
That is. I'm so glad that I now have that picture in my mind. That's just.
You're right though. People come up and say you should do this, or you
Right.
should do this, or you should do this, and I say, Ken and I have written probably 1,000
Thousand,
songs,
that's right,
and
that's
maybe 2 or 3 get sung.
Exactly.
But we had so much fun just on the back deck, like writing stuff,
Exactly.
and we come and we sing it, and people are like, no,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
And there's nothing
We
wrong
write
with it.
another 1,000 and like one sticks, you know. We just,
Next.
but it's super fun to come up with that.
Exactly. It's fun to do, and the whole idea is that the judge of whether something is good or not are the people, right? I mean, they'll do it if they like it. If they don't like it, they won't do it. I mean, it's,
Or too many
I think
words.
there's more to it.
Sometimes.
Go ahead. Well, what's
I
more?
mean, you gotta, if you want a song to stick, one, you gotta get a bunch of capos to learn it.
Learn it.
Which is difficult because
Right.
we're not the smartest bunch speaking for us. No offense.
You're
capos.
smart. You just drink.
Right. A lot. And the other thing is you have to stay at it. You have to keep doing it. Right. So the couple
Yes.
songs that we've gotten
Yes.
stuck lately.
That's a good point. No, you said that's a good
You have
point.
to do it. Even if you're singing by yourself, people are slowly learning the rhythms. So if you stick at it, if you stay at it, then it's gonna.
It's got to be
It's
simple.
gonna work. It's gonna be simple.
People have to know it.
Yeah.
That's what we've learned.
Right.
Yeah, there's the amount of effort to put it together 3-verse song. That was frustrating to me when I started songwriting. Is that you go write a tune and you go play it at a club or something, and it's got all this intricate lyrics and blah blah blah, and you play it and people are like,
Right.
and you're sitting there going,
I just read
and then you come up
symphony.
with a tune that has like a chorus with 4 words, and people are like, holy crap, that's freaking
Right?
amazing!
Oh, Mickey, you're so fun. Oh, right.
That was
That was
a song
sick.
with one word. Ollie, ollie,
Ollie,
What
And
word?
you all
Oh, we are 502. How simple is that? We're 502.
And you all came up.
It's like Sesame Street.
You guys came up with the olive tree. You came up with the olive tree.
No, we did not.
Who
Actually.
did?
A couple of people, dang, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I know them because I work close to them. Said, hey, we were in, I think it was Oktoberfest in Germany.
It wasn't Daniel, was it?
Singing, no, it wasn't that.
He had one.
They were singing this
Put the
song.
long stockings.
It was Ollie, ollie, ollie. I was like, that's great. We got to sing this. And we just started, and because it was only one word, and it's kind of chameleon, which is culture club.
Right, right, right.
Perfect.
Which is weird,
Mm.
right? Because we've got
Yeah.
to
And
talk
it
about
just, I mean, everybody knew the rhythm,
Right, right.
knew the tune, and then, of course, the word is easy because it's one.
Right.
So that caught on pretty quick.
Yeah, I
It
love
wasn't
that. I
us.
love that one.
Simple is
We've done
good.
a
Very communal.
But people love it. We are 502.
Yes.
It's simple.
Yes,
Like,
a lot of
I know
people-
what they're saying.
A
and I
lot of
can do
people
that.
love that one. That really, really kicked off. I mean, and I like it. I like that because it's Misfits, you know,
Mm.
from Lodi, New Jersey. Remember seeing that with the toy tiger? Not the toy tiger. What the hell's the name of that bar?
Toy Tiger's here, man.
That's just here. I'm trying to think. Remember the name of the bar off of that. What was it? Preston Street.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, do you think? Do you think it would be okay to try and organize a mass rehearsal with people, like with Louisville support? Katie, maybe you can answer that. I mean, like trying to do something in the off season where we say we would love every Louisville supporter on earth to come to. We haven't done that. I mean, we really have not done that.
Should we invite the mayor?
We invite. Yeah.
He could drum.
I mean, is that too trite? Is that too? I mean, it's like
It's hard to do.
I know it
It really
is.
is. Because when you go to an event people are playing music, right? Like the tailgate.
Right.
Tailgate used to, when we did the tailgate all the way down at Troll Pub and all that stuff, sometimes they wouldn't have music. So the only thing we had to do to make our own music was sing our own songs.
Right.
And that's actually when we learned the songs a lot better, because we just stand around and work on them and sing on them and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you go to the tailgate, no offense to any of the tailgate, but they're playing music the whole time. So
Yes.
you can't really sing songs together.
I understand.
There's
Sure.
just music.
Sure, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That in my mind is the best time to do it, but because of the way we do things, you can't do it like that.
Right, and I think the reason I'm thinking maybe, no, I agree with all that. I totally agree with you, because there's a lot going on around the tailgate. There's two things that we have going on this year that's a little different than normal. No, the new stadium. I mean, the new stadium may create a little more of a buzz. Maybe, I'm guessing, okay? The second thing is, and Matt, I think you're going to be able to tune us in on this because you're on the board. The new bar. There's a new bar. Have you heard about this place?
Oh, yeah.
Can you, do you have any knowledge of that and tell us a little?
Oh, yes. Do Love Live.
Okay.
This place is really something.
And they're all in for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I mean, can you just a couple seconds about what some of the things, I mean, we have nothing set up yet.
Yeah.
Nothing's
We're
done,
not marketing.
but there's
They
nothing,
are
right.
hollowing the
But
place
there's,
out right now. Basically, it's an old abandoned meatpacking thing.
Okay.
So basically, there's these huge concrete, former freezers that are going to be sectioned off into different individual bar areas, and they can do events in all of them. There is an upper floor. There's going to be some kind of deck outside up on top of the roof, and then also at a lower level.
okay.
They're talking about just crazy stuff like slides between the levels.
No, they were serious.
Wow. They are serious.
Yeah, and the place is just enormous. I mean, you could fit a ton of people in. They're all in on this. Like we're talking about, you could maybe hang a Tifa on one of their walls if you wanted to.
And that's-
They were talking about shooting fireworks off the roof.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm all in for that.
Hell yeah.
And a flagpole, a flagpole on the roof.
It sounds like a compound for The Walking Dead. For
Right.
in The Walking Dead.
I'm afraid
this
if
is
they're going to
compound
they're going to put you in charge of the fireworks. All of a sudden, you start barking out 40, 60, or whatever the hell you bark out. What the hell is he talking about?
Drop 15.
But we've
That's
never,
fire for effect.
Rebecca, what do you think? We don't have a base operations. We don't. I mean, I know against the grain is fine, and I have no problem against the grain. But we've never had a place where every single supporter,
Agreed.
like a lot of clubs and a lot of teams, sports teams in all places,
supporters.
yeah, they have
Agreed.
a place, and that to me, I think that's gonna. If we have that, if we have a home, for lack of a better word, as opposed to a parking lot. Where people are doing exactly what you're talking about.
They're also amenable to the whole tailgate thing too. So they're trying to kind of figure out how to put the tailgate thing in their parking lot. And
Okay.
It's a really good situation.
I think all the other places have been auditioning and they don't understand soccer culture, just as we in Louisville don't. I'm from here. We don't know what this thing called football is. So they've all been auditioning and trying to be supportive, not getting where it's going to go.
Right. It's
And so that's why there's no home base.
Absolutely.
Different ones have tried.
What they have in Columbus? I mean, was there a place, or was it just a demand?
They didn't really have a specific place that they went to. No, it was kind of spread out. I mean, they had a huge tailgate.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They had a very the times I've gone to that stadium. I've been there for a couple games for national team stuff. It's very NFL-ish.
Yeah.
Because they built it. That was built into the stadium when they built the Chicago Stadium.
Yeah.
It was during that time period when they were building those stadiums outside the city.
Well, the only real bars that they had were over on Hudson Street, and that's the only place where there's businesses.
Right.
Because it's in the middle of an old fairgrounds.
There's a McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's the home base, McDonald's.
You know what I really like though about this Butchertown thing is Butchertown is an urban environment,
right?
And parking is going to be limited,
which
is going to force
people. You're right. Good point.
To do other things, which is going to cause this kind of supporters culture pub type of thing, which there will be some parking. Not the first year. There's not going to be a whole lot.
So there's not. They're actually. He said a few hundred spots.
Maybe more than that. 1,900 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I mean, it's not a ton. Do you all travel together, or do you all? I mean, is there a bunch of cars that go?
Well, we've been tailgating this season.
Right.
That's the first year for us.
Do you enjoy it? I mean, obviously you enjoy it. You do it, but What do you think? That's the stupidest question. That may be the stupidest question ever. I apologize.
It's been really hot.
Do you have 5 fingers? So what would you say? What do you think? What do you think would make that better? Honestly, I mean, is there something that you like? Is there anything you guys talked about when you were doing the tailgating of the game this year? And you're like, I wish we had that. Is there anything, or is it just fine the way it is?
Well, yeah, but you don't know what you don't know in the new stadium either. So I don't know. That worries us. That we can't tailgate.
Okay, that's a good point.
Anymore.
That's a good point.
So we're, it's something we enjoy doing, and then wait, is that not going to be a possibility? Or so, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's I'm just whatever we do, I just hope it's organically. I mean, we could try and structure things. I can't believe he has that. By the way, yes, he has a can opener on the bottom.
You don't have to look for it.
Reef flip flops, so you could sponsor us, Reef flip flops.
Right, that's amazing.
I think one of our wealthier supporters, and I don't know who that would be. Somebody needs to buy a double-decker bus.
Hear that?
Paint that damn thing
I already
purple.
looked. Paint my double-decker. I almost bought a bus though.
No,
Like a Partridge Family bus.
Were you in Indianapolis? Did you see the person that has an ambulance?
Yes.
Somebody here
We've
has
seen it here.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's amazing.
You're going home in a person.
Yeah. So I'm hoping next year. What I want to do next year, I want to do a Groove Machine themed bus ride, and start doing a little bit.
That's
a microbus.
That reminds me about singing songs.
Okay.
When we did the bus trip, although it wasn't perfect, when we did the bus trip to St. Louis the first year, we
had the words.
Learned
that's right.
a lot of songs. We even came up. That's where we invented the Niall song.
Yeah.
That's right.
On that, we were like, okay, so what can we do? Oh, how about church tunes? And I just started.
It's Christmas tunes.
Christmas tunes. I mean, it's just rattling all the stuff I sing in church.
So Christmas tunes and Louisville.
And St. Louis.
That's
where we started doing.
Because that is you talk about one of my favorite memories. I'll tell you about this. Was it 2 years ago?
Yes, it was 2 years ago.
It was it was like 107 degrees, legit.
113.
It was, it was that hot. So yeah, right. And we're at the stadium. You didn't go that one either, I don't think, right? Did you go? No. So it's 113 degrees, and we're at the stadium tailgating, whatever. It's oppressively hot. And I'm like, F this, we're singing Christmas tunes.
Yeah.
So
right.
We start singing Christmas tunes. They score again, and then you had to see the people sitting on the bench sitting in the seats looking at us, singing Winter Wonderland. It was the most surreal moment, but it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I mean, I brought that up just because we were just talking about with the Niall thing. I just moments like that, but that was organic. We didn't plan it. Nobody said, "Oh, we're going to sing Christmas tunes." Nobody. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, the tailgate and whatever we do with the march and whatever we do. I'm just hoping it doesn't become so structured. Something I wanted to mention to you guys too and ask you about. I get a little worried sometimes that if we do things too structured, it creates tension.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that's sarcastic. That's some of the things, like when you do something too structured, it creates tension because some people expect it one way, it doesn't go the other way.
Yep.
It loses feeling.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for a point of discussion if everyone wants to talk about that.
We're not getting paid.
Right.
And there's
Thank
not
you.
like a set list.
Thank you.
Yeah. More just randomly
Right.
drinking and drumming and singing. I think.
Because the last thing I wanted to go ahead. I'm sorry. Anybody else want to comment? I mean, what do you think? I just.
Well, some of my favorite moments on the capo stand is when we were doing the Ollie song, and we decided to stop playing the drums.
Right. I
Continuously.
remember that was fantastic.
I mean, that was chilling. I got chills.
Yes,
right
so
now.
do I. I remember that. It was very, very cool.
We just did it right there, right then. And everybody
Absolutely.
just totally got it.
Acapulco.
It was just louder.
Let's go to Acapulco.
Acapulco.
Sing
Is that
acapella.
next to Hungary?
Yes, it's very close. That's what you say. To Acapulco now.
Yep.
But you're absolutely correct. There was another.
We
Spontaneous.
do that with Sweaty Camel last year.
Yeah, Sweaty Camel was a completely spontaneous moment. Somebody was like, because they were like, when we came up with that, I finished the beat, and somebody's like, "What's the name of the thing?" I don't know. Sweaty Camel ass. Okay, Sweaty Camel ass.
Oh, is it SCA that I can't do the drum on that thing?
Yeah, that's
it is SCA. Not fame.
There was another one I was just.
I prefer to think of it as you having a creative interpretation.
Yeah, I think of it as somebody used to do it, and where are they?
The mayor's just standing there going, I don't know.
I still like fame then. Yeah, no, SCA, yes. That's right.
He looks at me, he's like, help me out, man. I'm like,
He just loves it.
Another one that
Yes.
was completely spontaneous was the stupid choo-choo cheer,
Mm.
which was hilarious. I loved doing that as infantile in a way, because come on, it's silly, but it's so much fun.
It is fun.
You know, and I'm kind of hoping, like, I remember a couple of games ago, they were like, well, it's not, I don't know if we could do that because there's no train coming by the stadium. So,
First of all, yes, there is.
yeah, I know, talking about, and it's like, let's just do it. I don't
We'll have a super slow barge going back.
One of
the
the-
slowest cheer ever.
I don't know if y'all have ever. I sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch the 2018 when we won the championship and Phoenix was here, and I don't know if you remember, but when they took the field, a train went by, and it blew its horn.
right.
And there's a pan over, and they catch all the Phoenix guys on the TV,
Right.
and they're all laughing.
Are they really?
They thought it was hilarious that there's a train going by blowing its horn. But that cracks me up every time I watch it. I didn't know if y'all ever seen that before, but
That's the point, though, is that just generally speaking, that the more spontaneous things are, the better off they are, and the more structured. Structure is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with structure. We need it because we don't need chaos. Chaos is bad because chaos when we're winning is fine. Chaos when it's 95 degrees out and we're down 2-0. That's when the arguments start, and that's when stupid stuff's out. You know,
Hot dogs get thrown on
Right.
the
But
bed.
even that, I mean,
That
amongst
was justified.
yeah, right.
There's lots of good times.
And it's just the more spontaneous, the more fun it is, and that's what I'm kind of hoping.
Ken scoring a goal when nobody
Ken's
else
goal,
does.
he mentioned that before.
John
That
got the assist, I think.
Yeah.
was spontaneous.
yeah.
was very
Good
spontaneous.
memories. We really need a historian to mark all this down.
We do.
Because I feel like we're going to look back in time and go, we were only a slugger that 1 year, right? Like it's
Yeah.
all going to be compiled into 1 year.
And you're bringing up something good. I mean, we're going into this beautiful new facility. I think as time, look, it's a struggle. I mean, I don't know if you've ever done any of the setup stuff or any of that stuff, Kate, but it is such a pain in the butt. It
Yeah,
is
feel free
a
to
lot
join us.
of work. Yeah, by the way, feel free to join us. Feel free to join us after you get married this week. And
Carry
you know,
everything.
Katie, you can carry a drum around with like in whatever you're wearing when you get married. It'll be actually kind of, you know, something you don't know about me. I delivered pizza once in a tuxedo.
I believe
I went to my sister's wedding.
A flesh tuxedo?
No, and absolutely 100% tuxedo. It was my sister's wedding, and after the reception was done at 6, and I had to go to work, and I didn't have enough time to change, and I delivered pizza in the tuxedo for like 2 hours.
Did you get a better tip?
I did. I got some very good
I
tips.
bet.
And I was like,
There you go.
I was only like 17.
Dress for
I don't
success.
know why did I bring that up? I apologize. But it was interesting. You should have seen me. I look
She's
good.
going to be in a wedding dress
Yes,
carrying
carrying
a
it. Thank
bell
you.
drum
Thank
as
you.
well.
You know,
Right.
what-
I was in high school band and I did play bass drum for a parade and had the bruises afterward to prove it.
Come
Oh, every game.
Come drum.
Yeah.
There's always a spot, Katie.
You know what?
Always a spot.
One thing that I know about Katie is she's exceptional as a karaoke singer.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did sing at the
Christmas party.
Yeah, the party. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. The Christmas party last year was
It's a
a
good time.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it this year.
We should be doing something fun for it this year too, shouldn't we?
Yes, we are. We're going to be doing a remote podcast. We're going to be remote casting from there, but it's going to be a completely different format. What we're going to do is we're just going to set it up, and I guess we'll take turns sitting there and let people come up and just talk about things they're thankful for.
And it's Saints, right?
I'm not
No,
sure.
where we
No.
going?
That's
That's
a
Halloween.
Halloween
No,
party.
Right.
actually,
Oh,
I
my
think
part.
it's at Lisa Hines's. Last year was at Lisa. I think she was going to do it again. I don't want to speak for you, Lisa. I
It's
apologize.
not safe. It's not safe.
It's not safe, so we don't know. I
Sorry.
apologize.
Yeah.
Last year was at Lisa's apartment complex, and it was in their, I guess, common room. I guess
Yeah.
they call it.
The Meridian.
It was so much, right?
That was fun.
It was a really good time. And what we're going to do with the podcast is we're going to just we're going to set the gear up, set up a couple microphones, and then we'll take turns. Somebody will sit here, and if somebody wants to sit down and say, I love Christmas, I love you guys, blah, 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 and move it and just record it. It'll be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Talking about, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about structure. We're talking about stadium. I lost my train of thought.
Tuxedos,
Tuxedos.
dresses.
Dresses.
We've been going 2.5 hours.
Okay, yeah. So I think we're pretty much the only thing we want to talk about soccer wise, because we try to finish this stuff up with national stuff. Somebody you know very well, Alejandro Moreno, right? Didn't he play
Yeah.
for Columbus?
I know who that is.
Yeah. Well,
Alejandro Moreno. Which I can't tell you how many times I've done that.
yeah. I want
Especially in 2008.
I want to sing a couple friggin' songs for him right now, but I can't.
What's he up to?
Well, he was. We talked about this whole deal a few weeks ago with MLS and this stupid Leagues Cup thing.
Mhm.
Well, there was an interview that was just on yesterday. Garber has said publicly now that the goal is to unite this thing. That's his goal.
Unite what?
Is to unite at the Mexican First Division and the United States First Division. That's the
They
goal.
can't get enough fans for MLS.
That's his goal. Exactly, and that's the whole thing. And then Moreno's talking about pro rel. That immediately the conversation starts, and he turns around and he says, "Well, that'll never happen. Number one, the United States doesn't have an organized second division."
What?
Yeah, exactly. This is the guy that he's ESPN's MLS announcer. Okay, for their stupid show.
That's disappointing for me.
But he said it. Go look at it. I'm not making this up.
This is a bigger league than MLS.
I'm not even making that. I swear. Go look at it. He says, "Well, we don't have an organized second division."
What?
Yeah.
How could you miss this?
And then he turns around and he says, "Well, what do you expect these owners to pay $150 million in and then drop down to minor league soccer?"
Oh God. He's dead to me.
Oh my gosh!
Makes me mad.
I mean, he's
Come on,
I will
Moreno.
all right. First of all, calling it minor league soccer. Here's a guy that knows better. You know the connotation from lower division versus minor league. You don't. I've never heard of EPL. I've never heard of the championship in England called minor league soccer. I mean, I've never heard of lower division soccer in any other. And here's a guy that's supposed to be not world renowned, but nationally is supposed to be a guy that has his finger on the pulse of it. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to turn this into a pro rel conversation.
No, I'm not. No.
Part of the problem, though, is we still have 2 teams in our league.
Right.
And as long as we have 2 teams in our league, we're going to be referred to as a minor league.
Well, that's the other thing that
And we have got to get rid of that. Okay.
There's the rumor is that December the meeting that they're going to be moving 2 teams out of Division 2. It's more than a rumor.
That's good.
So they're going to if you want to be a 2 team, you've got to be in League 1. So that's the thing. The thing that just breaks my heart is that you've got a guy like this who's supposed to be this nationally renowned individual who has no idea we have a second division in the United States. And he calls it minor league soccer.
Yeah.
And we just enjoy what we have. You know, because this is what we're up against. Idiots like this who are turning around using language like minor league soccer. And MLS saved him because he wasn't playing overseas. There's no way that was going to happen.
I don't know why Frankie Hayduke's not a commentator for ESPN. You know who Frankie
Frankie,
Hayduke is?
he was with Columbus, but
He
he was
used to be a
overseas.
commentator.
He was overseas as well. I mean, he played, but he was from. I mean, his family he had dual citizenship. Didn't he? I mean, he was a national team player, and he was at Columbus for a long time.
Mhm.
He was a good national team player for a while.
Yeah.
But it was, that was in the days when the players were hungry, as opposed to what we have now. They're just so pampered in that league. So I'm sorry. The reason I just bring that up is because people get so wrapped up in this. We're talking about the NWSL. We're talking about this team, that team, new stadium, MLS. Be so thankful that we have what we have right now here tonight and have what we have going into next season. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that we have this. And we should enjoy it for what it is. Don't get wrapped up in the initials. Don't get wrapped up in all the nonsense because there are Alejandro Morenos out there that are announcers on ESPN that have no idea that this league
But he's a
exists.
dinosaur.
Right, that's true.
He's
Yeah.
a dinosaur. The
Good point.
lucky thing we've had here is we've had a whole bunch of forward-thinking people.
Yes.
Our ownership group is forward-thinking. They understand the demographics that are changing in the United States. Our city government is forward-thinking. They understand how things are changing and how we control things. And our fan base is forward-thinking too. 'Cause, we embrace weird and it's awesome.
Yeah, really.
It's weird is like in. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, Katie, this is the first time you're on, and we always let people who've never been on before to just go ahead and say something that whatever. I mean, anything relative to the team or whatever, anything you'd like to say about support, how you're thankful, whatever, anything.
Well, I am thankful that this came around, and like I said, it's very cool the community that I've been kind of a part of now in the last few years, and all the people I've met, and now I'm famous.
Yes, you are. And on top of that, I had no idea you were in high school marching band. So you can't say that, well, you use this as a recruiting tool to get you to play drums. But you can say that this is a recruiting tool to get you to play. Okay. Thank you so much for being on. And I can't wait for the wedding. Congratulations. It's going to be a lot of fun. Rebecca, you get a chance. It's your first time on.
So mental health is very important.
Yes, it is.
So if anyone is struggling with mental health issues, they could go to psychbc.com.
Okay. Yeah. Amen.
Which is short for Psychological Behavioral Consultants, which is too many words. So they changed it to psychbc.com.
Okay.
And we're in 4 states, and we're all around Kentucky. We have 7 locations in Kentucky.
Awesome.
So just in case anybody needs mental health,
Yes.
if we lose a game or I don't know, if other things are affecting you, there's people out there that can help.
Well, thank you. And thank you. Just I appreciate you so much. I really do.
I appreciate you,
You
Jim.
know, I honestly
Thank
do.
you for being.
And I just, because we're family now. I mean, I think of you guys, both of you. I mean, it's so far beyond just, hey, we're going to soccer game together.
Yep, we're there for you. If you ever need anything.
It's way beyond that with our group.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. It is.
You need a kidney? I got 2.
Yeah. I know I'm going to need a liver.
I can't help you there. I don't know.
You can't take my disease liver. I'm keeping my disease. Matthew, would you like to say anything?
I just want to reiterate, anything you can do to help out Sean Russell right now,
Yes,
if
excellent.
you can give him even $5 will help because it adds up quickly. And
That's a good point. And
I
thank
tweeted
you.
out the link. I tweeted the Groove Machine account retweeted it. So yeah.
And says a lot about you. I mean, you don't have to talk about that. So thank you so much.
Mhm.
Your turn, Derek.
I'm going to be in Point Pleasant until Sunday. If I'm not back on Monday, call the police.
He will be taken by Mothman.
Oh,
Mothman will take
Scully.
it.
I want to
hosting
believe
us.
Richard
Oh,
Gere. Call
absolutely.
Richard Gere.
Coach. It's awesome. So I've got 3 friends, at least 3 friends, if not 4, from Kearney coming out this week. I can't wait because I've wanted a couple of people besides. I mean, Carolyn comes out. She comes out a couple of, and I love Carol. She's wonderful. And plus a couple, at least 2, if not 3 friends that have, I can't wait to let them see this. Because, I mean, they've seen this before. I mean, they know they've been around the soccer thing a long time, but they've never seen this.
Oh, and they're coming for a New York game too.
There you go. And we're playing Red Bulls.
Who lost yesterday?
Who lost yesterday to St. Louis? Who's on fire?
St. Louis is good.
What is going on? It's like somebody turn it on, turn it off.
That's St. Louis though. That's how they roll.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, they lost.
All the time.
They started so
I
high.
hate to be a St. Louis fan, man. You're like, oh.
It's true. It's like being on a roller coaster.
Or being their bookie. Like, I don't know. Nobody else.
Yeah, and yesterday was pretty tough. Yesterday was weird because Tampa Bay lost.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch
It
of
was
teams
all
in the top tier
that
that
lost.
like lost.
So we can pick up a few
It's
points because
toss-up.
we could take a run at 6th and 5th place legitimately, and that would be kind of fun. And then watching them drop, you never know. You never know. So I think we're done, right? Unless anybody else, folks. Next week or 2 weeks.
Good night, everybody.
2 weeks. Dave Walkovic and some other supporters. Some live vodcasts coming up. Thank you for everybody that's been here. I'm sorry for the technical issues, but we will have the edited version tomorrow morning, and we'll have all of that out. And Davena, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for being here. Bye, everybody. Click. End.